All right, it's thebarlive.com. Hi, I'm Pugs Moran. I'm here with Sam and Jimmy. They're here just about every show that goes on here at thebarlive.com. Hi, Sam.
Pugs Moran. I never usually hear you say your last name.
My last name is usually Ann Kelly.
Yeah.
And, you know, now
it's Kelly.
I gotta change it up a little bit.
I talk to her every now and then on text. She said she's doing good.
Yeah, you know, she was involved in, there was a big news story that was going on down in her neck of the woods. Are you familiar with this?
Does it have to do with the Secret Service?
No.
Okay. No, then I'm not.
Has to do with bullying. You know, this kids are getting bullied now.
Is her son Declan now becoming a bully?
Well, I hope not. But he's a member of the football team down there at, I think it's Flower Bluff High School. They were like on the Today Show. Her son was on like Good Morning America or the Today Show last week. Did you know about this?
No.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it, but yeah, she told me that they were. Here's what happened: some kid down at Declan's school killed himself because he was being bullied. Terrible, terrible story. And a number of the football players who are known around the school as the Wolf Pack were basically singled out as the cause, the primary tormentors of this kid.
Oh, wow.
No, at this school, the football players were the ones that were...
Right? Yeah. So there was a big hubbub about, you know, the teachers knew this was going on, but they did nothing, and then everybody got involved, and Good Morning America called, and they did a thing. It was all over the news. Flower Bluff High School in Corpus Christi has a bullying problem. And that was all, she was all neck deep in that. But I haven't heard anything about it in a week, so I guess we lost our interest in it and have moved on.
It's amazing how quickly that can happen.
Yeah, no, well, it is. We're all very, very short-sighted. We like something, and then we don't the very next day.
Now, is this a new thing? Because I'm not too far detached from that, and it was just right around the corner, and it was just as bad as it is today.
Bullying? Did you get bullied?
Yeah, quite a bit, actually.
Did?
Yeah, especially in middle school going into high school, because I had an awkward growth spurt during that time.
I was going to say, you're a large guy.
Yeah.
Not large like, you know, hey, look at that big fat guy, but you're tall. How tall are you?
6'2".
Okay, so you're 6'2",
but I was a
rangy.
I was a big boy, though, during fifth all the way through ninth grade.
So you were heavy. You were tall and heavy.
Yeah.
And you got bullied?
No, I wasn't tall. I didn't hit my actual growth spurt until somewhere
okay.
around late 7th grade. So I'll never forget it. It was the worst time in probably in my existence, just being picked on by the people behind me.
Well, who picked on you?
It wasn't, it was just
older kids,
constantly teasing. Yeah, it was mainly the older people that were in classes just above me or something like that. But yeah, it totally sucked. I just assumed that everybody has to go through this.
What do they call you? What was going on here? Did you have? Let's first of all, give me a year. Tell me what year this is, and then I'm going to ask you about the way you dressed, about what you were doing.
Oh man, seventh. I totally in 7th grade was the worst, but I kind of deserved it for the way I dressed.
We're talking mid 90s.
Yeah, this would have been 97. Yeah.
97.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, 97?
Yeah.
Jeez, I was married in 97. Good Lord. All right, so 97, what were you into, Backstreet Boys and stuff like that?
No, I was listening to mainly rock music and things like that. I was one of those guys that was almost goth but didn't dress it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, those guys will get picked on.
Yeah.
Right.
I found that out pretty quickly. Yeah.
Did they get physical, or was it just sort of emotional and teasing?
You know, the funniest thing is that the guy that was doing most of the teasing really had no reason to be doing the teasing at the time. You know what I mean? Even at the time.
Who are you?
Yeah,
I'm a dork compared to you?
Somehow I dealt with it. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, whatever. You know what I mean? I think that it was mainly because I had a crush on the girl that was just ahead and to the right of me, so I didn't want to be the guy that just goes crazy. You know what I mean? So, it was this horrible, perfect storm that was going on.
You didn't want to spaz out because you were being picked on?
Yeah.
You don't be that one? Cut it out! Stop it! Stop it! You're throwing books.
Right.
And then the teacher is all mad at you because you're the one that's being disruptive, and then you're dragged out of the class and you're screaming.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you, Billy Simpkins. Something like that.
It's as if you were actually there because I would get dragged out of the class.
Oh, see, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Now the kid that's getting picked on has now been sort of singled out as the problem.
But you know what? When I would be in the hallway by myself, those were the best times of that class during that time.
Yeah,
So.
but then I've been sent in the hallway too, and you sit
Yeah.
there and it's quiet and it's kind of it's like another world because
It
inside
is.
the classrooms there's its own sort of universe that's going on, and then outside it's quiet. It's like space.
You just peer in every once in a while. You're like, yep, they're still having a good
Every
time
once in a
there.
while, you'll see a kid coming in late because he had a dentist appointment in the morning, and he's walking down the hall with his mom or something,
Yep.
and then you just feel like
You're the guy in the
You're
hallway.
the guy in the hallway. Yeah. Sam, what about you? You ever get picked on? Were you ever bullied or anything like that?
No, not really. I remember the captain of the football team once just while I was walking down the hall made some sort of a weird comment, but no, I was never picked on. I was a shut in. I never really talked to anybody.
Yeah, I was not a shut in. I was like Mr. Social. I was like a social butterfly. And I never really had a problem in high school. Certainly, I never had a problem with bullies because I got lucky. I got lucky in that I became, just through happenstance, I became best friends with a guy who was a year older than me and the toughest kid in the high school. So I kind of
works.
had that, and he wasn't like a jerk. Like, he wasn't tough because he beat people up. He was tough because sophomore year he was 6'5", 300 pounds.
Right.
He was,
No one tested it.
no one tested it. And,
Yeah.
I was his friend, and so I didn't really have that problem. I'm trying to think if there was ever, maybe when I was really little, like second, third grade, there were instances of bullying, but no, that wasn't really a big problem for me. And I wasn't a bully either. I mean, that wasn't sort of, this whole bullying thing, it seems like, I don't know if it's created by the media, if it is worse than it ever was. Bullying, I don't think was that terrible when I was a kid. There were a couple of kids.
Right.
Oh my God, now it's coming back. Yeah, you know what? There were kids that I was mean to. There were kids that I was mean to, now that I think. Just in a gang type mentality because everybody was being mean. Joe Feccio, if you're listening, I would like to apologize to you. I tied him up and whipped him once. I did.
I hope that Joe is tuning in right now. He's like, I've been waiting this entire time for this apology.
This dude, okay, there was Patricia Bilski, okay? That was a girl that just, she got hammered. She had one eye. I mean, it was for really mean stuff. Like I think she was like from a foreign country, and she was already a little bit, but she also had one eye, and she was overweight. And she got picked on mercilessly. I swear. So we had Patricia Bilski. Then we had this girl named Trisha Casey. Okay? Now, Trisha Casey, she was unfortunate in that she was like a nerd girl that always got picked on, but she was also being picked on around the same time as John Wayne Gacy was in the news. So she became Trisha Wayne Gacy.
Oh, wow.
We just teased her with Trisha Wayne. And then there was a guy named Ken Petrick, and then there was another guy named Joe Feccio, who I mentioned. Oh, and then there was another girl who just got brutalized. And as an adult, I can't. She was from India, okay? Her name was Insia. And she used to come to school because her parents were, they're probably neurosurgeons or something.
Right.
But she used to come to school and she wore traditional Indian clothing. Her parents didn't mainstream her, and her parents were definitely still in the old world and all of that. Mm-hmm. And she just got so picked up. God, I feel like such an ass now. And I hadn't really thought about these people. I'd always gone through life thinking that, I wasn't a bully. I didn't pick on, but I did in that gang sort of mentality. I was a part of whatever trauma we decided to unleash on these poor kids.
Yeah, I like to think that I wasn't one of them, but after I got through that growth spurt and I started hanging out with certain groups, all of a sudden I'm sure that I was involved in just as much as I was having to deal with.
Kids are awful. Kids are really awful people. They don't make good decisions. They don't have any life experience. They have no frame of reference for anything. They're just so mean. Ugh.
Well, do you remember being that age? I wouldn't go back to that for anything because
what age? What age are we talking about? Because I would go back to 16.
Yeah,
totally go back to
16 was all right. But when you're really confused, that moment just before you even go to high school or something like that age where it's just like you're a festering. I don't even know. Like at that point, I didn't even know how to have sex. I just knew that I was supposed to be having it. So I'm confused, and like people are judging me, and I'm judging myself more than I ever have. Like it's just this really big, confusing moment in your life, and like of course you're gonna like bully people to try to get it off your mind.
Well, right, because you're an emotional wreck.
Yeah.
You don't really know how to behave in certain situations, and you lash out with your most instinctive ways, and a lot of times that's dominance. I mean, the human being, the human entity is an incredibly flawed species. We are terrible, terrible people. We really are. I mean, I've had this conversation for years and years with people. I believe that sweet little baby that is born in minutes old is the most evil, self-centered, awful thing on the planet. It really is.
Yeah.
All it wants to do is cry, get what it wants. F you. F what you want. I'm a baby. I want food, and I'm going to cry, and I'm going to scream, and I'm going to be a dick until I get it. It takes good parenting, and it takes laws, the laws of the land, to sort of force people to be good. It's easy to be bad. That's our natural instinct. To screw everyone over and do whatever we want. That's easy. That's why cave people are so awful.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever spent any time around cave people, but
those guys just awful. Unbearable.
Terrible. Rude. No dinner manners. I mean, civilized society has developed these sets of rules, these sets of guidelines that we all try to follow. And that's how the human being becomes a civilized human being. I mean, just left to our own devices, we are awful. And at 10, 11, 12 years old, when you're away from your parents and nobody's looking, you revert right back to that awful natural instinct to be a dick. And that's what kids are.
Yeah.
So,
until about 15, 16. That's when it starts veering into the right direction, and you start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Mainly graduation.
Although I can tell you, I know a number of 40-year-olds who are still dicks, who are still that exact same horrible kid.
Yeah.
All right, every day you guys, we get together and all that. And Sam, you like to run through a couple of news stories, just sort of throw some things out. Is that how we get started?
Yep.
Okay, let's do that. We got a lot of stuff we'll get into today, but let's start off with Sam throwing out some hot topics, just like they do on The View.
Oh, Elizabeth was on the rant this morning. Did you see The View by any chance?
I saw it for the first 20 minutes.
About the dogs?
No, I didn't see
They were
that.
talking about because of the fact that the Democrats or somebody keeps bringing up Mitt Romney and putting the dog on the roof. Now, apparently, Obama or somebody has a website with Bo the dog on it asking for donations to the Democratic re-election campaign.
Well, let's explain for people who may not know what we're talking about. And this goes back months and months. Mitt Romney, in another one of his attempts to seem like do you know this story? In a way to seem like an everyday guy who loaded up the family in the truckster and they went on a real Griswold type vacation. You know, he's trying to appeal to the natural, family instinct of the American voter. He revealed that, we'd pack all the kids in the car and we'd put the dog kennel up on the roof. We put the dog in the kennel and we'd hit the road.
And they had video of it, didn't they?
I don't know if they had video of it, but most people went, wait. You put the dog in the kennel that was strapped to the roof, and then you hit the highway with the dog in the kennel, and Mitt Romney thought there was just nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And that made a lot of people's red flags go up on this guy. Mine, definitely. You don't do that.
And especially that he had no hesitation to say this in front of a public crowd.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's why I think he was lying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that all of these sort of folksy, hey, look at us, we don't have $500 million in the bank. We're just a regular middle-class family like you. He comes up with all of these scenarios, and he inevitably puts his foot in his mouth because I don't believe they're true. I think he is just conjuring up these fictionalized stories of what he thinks the average American wants to hear that he does. And in reality, he screws up when he says stuff like, put the dog up on the... Oh. Again, this is the same family who the wife, a couple of weeks back, said that she understands what it's like to struggle because in college, her and Mitt almost had to sell some of their stocks to get by.
Yeah.
So what's the latest?
Oh, no, they were just talking about the fact that I guess Bo the dog has a website asking for donations to the Democratic re-election campaign. Yeah. So they were kind of talking about it this morning on The View, and Elizabeth and Joy, of course, were kind of getting into it because Joy was defending Bo the dog's website but criticizing Romney. Right. And, of course, Elizabeth would not criticize Romney, but she's like, this is just stupid. We shouldn't talk about it anymore. And Joy's still trying to talk about it. And finally, Whoopi's just like, we're moving on, kids. You know, guys
Ooh,
playing the
tension
peacemaker.
on The View.
Yeah, she was. Speaking of Romney, he's tied in a new poll with Obama right now if the election was held today, but people don't like him. His likability factor is bad compared to Obama's, but in a poll, he's tied with Obama right now, basically in a statistical heat.
He's going to benefit from the fact that he's now got 9 months or so, whatever it is. He's got some time to sort of reintroduce himself to the people that are like feeling stuck with him. A lot of people feel like, oh, we're stuck with him.
Yeah.
He's better than the other guy. He's got time now to sort of make up and become someone that they like.
Wolf had Michelle Bachmann on, I think yesterday, the day before, and she still hasn't endorsed Romney.
I saw her yesterday. I saw.
Yeah, and he kept asking her, and she kept skirting the issue. Like, she's like, eventually I will. It's basically what I read between the lines is eventually she will because she has to, but she doesn't really want to.
I think she probably wants to be vice president.
Yeah.
Which she ain't going to get.
And Santorum still hasn't given Romney a seal of approval yet either, so that's news from the Republican campaign.
You know, the story last week was Hillary Rosen, who is a Democratic strategist, went on, I believe it was CNN, and she said she was basically... What's her name? What's Romney's
Ann
wife?
Romney?
Ann Romney? Yeah. Ann Romney made some comment, and Hillary Rosen went on television and said, well, what does she know? She has never worked a day in her life. And then, of course, it turned into a political hot potato. As though, what is this Democratic strategist Hillary Rosen saying about women who stay at home and raise kids? Is she saying that they don't work? And she had to apologize, and it just became this ridiculous, asinine, stupid political hot potato. The fact of the matter is, folks, is that Ann Romney has not worked a day in her life, okay? She raised 5 boys. That's right, she did. But how hard is it to raise 5 boys when you have $500 million in the bank and a staff? And, you know, it was funny. I saw one of the boys on Piers Morgan on CNN last week. And he said, well, in this notion that we had a house full of servants, we didn't have that. We had a full-time maid and we had a nanny when we were younger, but that was all we had. That was all you had? Most people do not have a full-time maid and a nanny for the younger kids. So, I mean, right there, it just shows their detachment from the average American. They have no... Ann Romney has never worked a day in her life. I'm sorry. She has never had to rush in traffic. She has never had to make excuses to some boss who is making some ridiculous demand on her time. She has never had to cover ass for somebody that she works with. She doesn't understand what it is to really work. Now, that is not to say that a woman who stays home and raises 5 boys doesn't do a lot of ditch digging. She does. She knows about the physical labor of demands on your time and all that, but it isn't the same thing. And Hillary Rosen shouldn't have to apologize for that, because most smart women in America understand that there is a difference between a woman who has to work for a living and a woman who gets to stay at home and go shopping and all of that stuff. It's not an indictment on women who do that. It isn't. It's just pointing out that there are different lifestyles that both people enjoy. And quite honestly, I was raised by a single mother who worked and raised me. And that's how most people, I think, at least in the last couple of generations, were raised by their mothers. Everybody's mother worked.
Right.
In addition to raising their kids. So Ann Romney had a very, very distinct advantage that she had $500 million in the bank.
Yeah, that would. I'm sure that most moms would be like, "Oh, I can also have that as an option."
Oh yeah, really?
I'll do that as well.
So wait, you're telling me that I don't have to work the night shift at the diner and get up early because the twins are teething? I mean, come on, it's ridiculous.
I don't have to get a second job so that I can get them into a daycare. I don't have to do that.
Let's stop pretending like the Romneys are regular people. They're not. They're uber rich. They are super wealthy. They have no idea what it's like for the rest of us. Well, I mean, they did almost have to sell their stocks in college. So maybe they do. Sam, what else you got?
And some other real quick political news. Everyone's putting their foot in their mouth. Ted Nugent basically said he wants the president dead. The Republicans now are like freaking out because he endorsed Romney.
They're freaking out. They don't want him.
Yeah.
There you go, all you Nuge heads. This guy, look, I know Ted Nugent. At least years ago.
Yeah, I've hung out with him before.
Yeah, the guy is not a political heavyweight.
Have you seen his hot daughter? He has got the smokingest, hottest daughter.
His wife, Charmaine, is pretty hot.
Yeah. Oh.
But Ted Nugent is not anyone that should be taken seriously on any of these issues.
Secret Service is now investigating.
Good. Good.
Representative Alan West regrets calling House Democrats communist. Doesn't regret calling the House Dems communists last week. Speaker Bonehead is accusing Obama of being a boogeyman and trying to get reelected by threatening people. Basically,
I like that. I like that when the conservative right is now accusing the Democrats of being fearmongers.
yeah. So enough with politics. Have you seen the Times 100 most influential list yet? Time 100's most influential people in the world.
Is there a Kardashian on the list?
I don't think so. This list just includes the most influential people in the world, good or bad.
Okay.
You know, they could have done bad stuff, but they're still influential.
Right. You've had an influence on the world that we live in. Whether Saddam Hussein had an influence on the world we live in.
This is in no particular order. They just have the list, and it doesn't say why, but some of the notable names are Jeremy Lin. From the last year.
Okay, influential, definitely. Yeah. Jeremy Lin, an Ivy League Asian American who became a basketball standout. I can definitely see how that would be influential.
I'm not going to go through all these names because I don't know some of them and it'll take too long, but Viola Davis, she won the Oscar.
Yeah.
I'll leave, in case I skip and you know somebody, because look, I don't know some of these names. Tim Tebow, obviously.
Tim Tebow, yeah.
Louis C.K. made the list.
Louis C.K. Yeah, he definitely, as far as comedy, he certainly should make the list.
Rihanna made the list.
Okay.
Marco Rubio.
All right.
The was he a Republican from Florida?
Florida, yeah.
They keep talking about him possibly for vice president, but he says he's not getting it.
Yeah, he doesn't. You know why? Because he wants to be president, and he's not going to sully himself with this loser campaign. He doesn't want to be involved in this. He knows that the next one, 2016, is when I think.
Well, I was just gonna say that's what I was thinking as well. I mean, that's the one that you want to go for.
Wow. Yeah, he wants to take on Hillary Clinton in 2016.
Kristen Wiig.
Okay.
Anthony Kennedy, is that a Supreme Court justice?
I think that's it's Anton Scalia.
Yeah, Scalia. That's right.
And Anthony Kennedy. So that is a Supreme Court justice.
Jessica Chastain.
Jessica Chastain, who is that? Why do I know
that name? She's an
actress.
I think she's pretty hot. Let me see if there's a picture of her. She's done some movies, but I guess
I have no idea who she is.
Oh, she was in The Help. Oh, that's right. She was nominated for an Oscar for The Help.
Okay, good for her.
How does this make them influential, though?
Well, it means that they've made an impact probably in their whatever field. And so they've been influential in that. Like Louis C.K. has certainly been influential in comedy. He's influenced the way people do it.
But like you said going into this, like, is Kim Kardashian or one of the Kardashian? I see them everywhere. You would think that they're making more influence than people that we don't even recognize.
They are wildly influential.
Right.
The Kardashians. Wild. I'm not saying this like, hey, yay.
Right.
I'm saying they are. They just are.
For better or for worse.
I don't know a lot of these names, but Jimmy, this one will make you happy. Anonymous made the list.
Mm-hmm.
Top 100 influential. Let's see. Chelsea Handler.
I don't know a lot of these.
Harvey Weinstein from the movies. Warren Buffett.
All right, this is a bad list.
Yeah.
Unless you can come up with somebody that
Mitt
we know.
Romney.
Who's Wang Yang?
I can.
Seriously, click on Wang Yang. I want to see
Yang.
what he is. What is he, like some Chinese industrialist or something?
He's of the Communist Party of China. Approved a new local election and an investigation into villages' complaints of corruption.
He's the Communist Party boss of Guangdong.
He could be a softer touch to Chinese power.
That's where all the protests were.
Let's see. Anybody else of note that we know? Ron Paul made the list. Benjamin Netanyahu. Hillary Clinton.
Claire Danes.
Tilda Swinton.
Stephen Colbert.
Yep, Matt Lauer. And then it has rogues Kim Jong-un.
Oh yeah, that's the new leader in North Korea there.
And then I don't know all these other people, but those are the main people that we might know.
Let's go back to those. Go back to the bad guys.
The rogues?
Right. Yeah. So Kim Jong-un is the leader of North Korea.
Yep.
That's Korea.
Let's see.
I don't know who this guy is. Mullah Omar Sheikh Moza Ali Zubayar. I don't know.
Afghanistan's fugitive leader of the Taliban. And the Islamic militia leader as well. These two guys.
He's the emir of Al-Shabaab, an Islamic militia that has germinated in the rot of Somalia. All right, well, good luck to him. The other guy is Assad, the leader of Syria.
So are they doing voting on this?
Yeah, who's your favorite?
Yeah, like there's people like in Afghanistan right now. They're like trying to get the word out. Like, if you could please vote for me in Times 100 poll.
All right, I like this list.
Yeah, and then the Syrian president, Bashar Assad.
Assad, who, by the way, have you ever seen his wife, this insane dictator over there in Syria? Man, his wife is hot. She is really top notch. He's not that old. He's like in his 40s, and he's the brutal dictator of Syria, and he's been there for years and years. And he married this woman who apparently was, from London, and she was educated there, and she's a blonde. Anyway, I think she's a blonde.
Oh, really?
She's really hot. I mean, really hot.
Do people not look down on that? That he basically brought
He's
another
a dictator.
girl in?
What are they going to do? He's going to cut their heads off. He can have
that's
whoever
true.
he wants. No, I think that she might be Syrian. I think she might actually be Syrian. Like her family was, wealthy
Syrian
Syrians.
girls can be hot too. I mean, I
I
don't
dated
know why
a
you'd have
Syrian
to.
girl.
Yeah, why
Very
would you have
hot.
to import anybody? You're
No.
doing fine over there.
Because she's classy. Because she went to Oxford and all that kind of stuff. And she dresses Western and she's sexy. And
It's like Kim Jong Un.
you know what? Let's do that. Go ahead, Sam. You give us another story. I'm going to pull up Assad's wife because you got to see this chick. She's really hot. She's supposed to be horrible, though.
Did you hear
Horrible.
about?
Like, just
Oh, really?
people are being slaughtered in the streets, and she's arguing on the phone. There was a taped conversation of her arguing on the phone with some tailor who did something with the drapes, and she was pissed. Meanwhile, you hear kids are being dragged in the streets, and she's arguing about. It's a very let them eat cake kind of thing that she's created down there. But she's hot. All right, let's see. We'll go Google images. Assad's wife. ASSAD. Ah, look at that. Assad's wife pops up.
It's the number one thing that the West is looking for about him.
I am not the only person apparently looking for pictures of King Assad or whatever the hell he is. All right, let's try this. Let's go to images.
Another thing about Assad, though, is that he doesn't
here we
look
go.
like
Come
he
here,
would
come
be a hardcore
You know what?
dictator.
These aren't great pictures of her, but yeah, this is her.
Yeah.
She's very sexy.
Yeah,
She's
she is.
very fashionable, They're not what you would think of,
No.
a Syrian first
No.
lady or whatever. She could be an American first lady. I mean, she looks like a real. No, actually, she's too hot to be an American first lady.
Yeah.
She's too young.
She definitely is.
I think she's like 34 years old. She's look at that. That's pretty cute. That's a chick you'd see at like a Matchbox 20 concert.
Yeah.
Hey,
what are you doing later?
Yeah.
That whole like couple right there doesn't seem right for a dictator. Like when it comes to like hardcore dictators, I'd like them to be more
Old.
Oh, yeah, like hardcore, old, very scary.
Well, he took over for his dad. His dad was the old scary guy.
Yeah.
And now he's the younger 40-something with the hot young wife. Everyone was very encouraged. They thought that he was going to bring a more Western attitude to Syria and all. No, not so much. Not so much.
Like those guys, they look like they could come into a boardroom and try to sell you smart water.
Yes. Yes. Or
Yeah.
she looks like the kind of person that might escort Matthew McConaughey on his radio interviews.
Yeah.
Like a PR person. She's very well put together, very Western looking. Diplomats' wives urge Syrian first lady, stop your husband. Yeah, I'm sure that women in the Middle East have a lot of influence over their dictator husbands. Sam, what else you got?
Even the Penguins don't like Newt Gingrich. He was at the
You mean the Pittsburgh Penguins?
No, the actual Penguins. He was at the St. Louis Zoo last week for a private tour when he was in the city for campaigning.
St. Louis has a good zoo.
Yeah, the St. Louis Zoo. They allow at times private tours. They get to go up close with the animals. So they had a couple of penguins. One of the penguins nipped at Newt and got his finger.
Nice.
So even the Penguins don't like Newt. Did you hear about what happened to the national championship trophy in Alabama?
Hold on. Do you think you could get killed by a penguin? Do you think a penguin could kill you? And I bring this up because there was a story in the news yesterday. Not about a penguin. There's a guy who there's an apartment complex that has a couple of swans, right? And the swans are at the apartment complex because the swans keep the geese away. And if you've ever had a problem with geese, you know that when they fly, and this was up in the Midwest, this was actually up in the Chicago area. So when the geese fly south for the winter, they stop at these lakes and apartment complexes and all of that just to catch a little breather. And then they leave about a foot of goose poop everywhere. It's disgusting. Wow. It's really disgusting. And then they pick up and fly away and all the grass is white. It looks like it snowed. It's really just all goose. Because we're talking about tens of thousands of geese that all land on one lake at one time and then pick up and fly away again. So they got these swan, because the swan apparently scare the geese away. The geese won't land on the lake if the swan are. This guy was out there in a kayak feeding the swan, and he got too close to a swan nest, and a mother swan tipped over the kayak, and the guy drowned.
Oh, wow.
The guy drowned. How awful. And he's apparently everything I'm reading about this guy is a good dude. You know, he's 35, had 2 little kids of his own, lived in the apartment complex, has been doing this, has been feeding the swan for like a year, and they finally got him. They're like, we don't want your damn food.
Yeah, well, he sounds like an amazing guy that he's actually going through the trouble of bringing a swan out there to scare away the geese.
Well, no, he didn't bring the swan out. The apartment complex brought the swans out.
Oh, okay.
But he just took it upon himself to sort of take care of the swans, make sure that they're all taken care of, and this is how he gets thanked. The swan kills him. The swan tips over his canoe or his kayak, they said, and he drowned. That's terrible.
Unbelievable. So, yeah, I don't know. I would like to think that a penguin can't kill me, but you know what? That would probably be my luck.
Here's the thing. If we were in a ring, you know, and I was ready to fight and everything, it was like, all right, in this corner, Pugs. And in this corner, from the southern tip of the Arctic, the emperor penguin. I would kick the penguin's ass.
Yeah.
But if it was just like, you know, I'm at the zoo and I'm like, oh, hi, Mr. Penguin. And the penguin starts going, wah, wah, whatever they do, the penguin would kick my ass because I'd be out of my element and I'd be freaking out and I wouldn't know to punch or to choke hold the penguin. You know what I mean?
You would just throw a limb in its direction and it would take it away from you.
I'd just run, and then the penguin would be waddling after me. I mean, come on, I've done that with a spider in the bathtub, you know, where you see something unexpected. You're like, oh, Jesus, what the, you know?
I would love is it just like waddles very slowly behind you.
yeah. And I would like slip on some goose poop or something, and then the penguin would be on top of me. And just, I could see how a penguin could kill me. Hey, look, if a swan can kill a guy in a kayak, I'm sure a penguin could kill me. Sam?
A couple of quick football stories. Did you hear what happened in the national championship trophy?
I did, and this is some great debate going on in the world of sports now. Tell people what happened.
Well, Alabama is the national champion, and they were awarded a $30,000 crystal championship thingamajiggy.
Yeah, the BCS championship trophy, which is this beautiful crystal football.
And over the weekend, they were having like Alabama Day festivities. A parent of a current player tripped on a rug.
Jimmy, what do you think goes on during Alabama Day festivities?
What do you
think?
A parent of current player tripped on a rug that was under the display case, and the Waterford crystal football crashed to the ground, shattering it into a million little pieces.
Yeah, the BCS trophy.
The trophy, handmade in Ireland and worth $30,000, was at a facility where Nick Saban's office is located.
So basically, a kid's dad, a player's dad, tripped on a rug, causing a domino chain of events that landed the $30,000 BCS championship trophy on the floor in pieces.
Yes.
Here's my thing, all right? Now, maybe just because I'm a nice person, but when I think of this story, the first thing I do, I'm not worried about the trophy. That's stupid. I'm sure it's insured. I'm sure you can get another trophy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, you're not national champions anymore because that guy's dad, he broke the trophy. No, that's not what it's. Stupid trophy. I feel bad for the dad. Immediately, I'd be like, oh, look, it's all right. My first reaction would be to make sure that he's okay, because he must have been mortified.
Right.
Horrified.
Because something as simple, if like you're in a group or something and you spill a cup of water, you know, and it might even like inconvenience somebody because they have to pick up their plate. That's embarrassing, you know what I mean? But like to lose something that's $30,000, everybody's there celebrating it.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that you don't want to fall off the table.
My first thought when I heard this story was, well, they're obviously not taking very good care of that thing. If a dude could trip on a rug and shatter it, you know, at some point, it's not the responsibility of the guy who didn't know where he was stepping, but it's the responsibility of the caretaker of the trophy. What was it on like a parking cone? You know, was it like dangling on a cone? Well, I mean, how was it not secured to the point where somebody tripping on a rug wouldn't shatter it? That's on somebody else. That's not on the dad. Those people are gonna trip. People are gonna bump into things. You gotta secure a $30,000 trophy better than that.
Yeah, yeah. If it was yours, I mean, people, you know, just take care of their TVs better than they are apparently this trophy.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you're having a party, no one's even allowed within 5 feet of the TV. And you know, this trophy, apparently they're just throwing it around. It's not made like the Stanley Cup or anything. I mean, like you can throw that thing around.
Right. Yeah. Although didn't we see the Stanley Cup? Didn't the Stanley Cup get run over by a bus this year?
Oh. Yeah, somebody knocked it over or something. Yeah, I remember that.
They were on I think it was in Boston. I think it was the Bruins. They were on the bus going through the city for the parade, going woo, woo. and somebody on top dropped it, and it fell over the double-decker bus, and the bus ran it over.
Was it like? How was it? Like, is it broken?
Yeah, they had sent back to get it fixed and all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't the Stanley Cup. Maybe it was the World Cup. It was.
No, something happened with the Stanley Cup. I remember. I don't think it got run over. I think it got dropped and dented.
Well, there's the famous story about the Pantera pool party where the Stanley Cup got dented after the Stars won.
Yeah.
Somebody apparently threw it off one of the balconies, thinking it would land in the pool. It didn't. It lipped the side of the pool and dented the cup, and so. But that was years and years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know what this is. Something. Maybe it was the World Cup. Maybe it was a Stanley. I don't know. It was one of those big trophies that got run. I remember. I can see the video. I just can't tell whether the guys on the bus are hockey players or soccer players.
Not a good year for trophies.
No, not a good year. Sam?
The NFL released their 2012 schedules yesterday. ESPN has the. Have you seen the list of who has the hardest schedule and has the easiest schedule?
No, I haven't. No, I'd like to see this.
Okay, based on this year's records,
okay,
coming up for 2012. The New York Giants have the toughest schedule next season.
The way it should be. They're the Super Bowl champions. They should play the toughest schedule.
Games versus quality opponents, 7. The combined win-loss records of 140 and 116, which is a 547 winning percentage, followed by Denver, Cleveland, St. Louis, Baltimore.
Hold on. How did Cleveland get stuck with a really bad schedule?
It's based on the combined win-loss record from last year. The team with the easiest schedule next year?
Well, actually, that's not all it's based on, because there is a rotation that goes on where you play divisions, entire divisions.
Yeah.
And it may just be their time. Like, for instance, Cleveland had a sucky record last year, but it may just be their division's turn to play a really tough division.
Yeah.
So they've got all these tough teams.
Well, I can tell you which division they're playing.
Like the NFC, I would bet that they're playing the NFC East.
Let's see. I'll have to pull up their. Yeah, Cincinnati. Yeah, they play the East because Cincinnati's playing Philadelphia this year. So
yeah. So those are tough teams. That's Philly, New York, Dallas.
Yep. The team with the easiest schedule based on 2011, the New England Patriots. Followed by Green Bay at 31, New England 32.
Oh, nice that we're making it easy for those guys.
Right.
Green Bay and the Patriots have the easiest path to the Super Bowl. Good. Nice that we're making it simple.
Yeah, I was looking at the Patriots.
Because those guys never win anything.
I was looking at the Patriots' schedule. Conceivably, other than the teams in their division, they should be able to win all the rest of their games.
My Bears, I was blown away by my Bears schedule for the first time that I can remember. Well, actually, not the first time I can remember, but typically you can gauge whether or not the rest of the country thinks your team is cool by how many times they put you on Monday Night Football or how many times they put you on. Because they aren't going to put teams that people, like let's say like Chicago Bears. They aren't going to put the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football if they think it's only going to be people in Chicago. They'll want to see, do they draw in L.A.? Do they draw on the East Coast? All that kind of stuff. My Bears got 3 Monday Night Football games, 2 Sunday Night Football games, and a Thursday night game. I'm very excited because I don't live in Market, so it's hard for me to catch the games. That means that all of those games I'll be able to watch on my couch at home on national TV.
That's huge.
They come to Dallas this year.
Yeah, they do. I believe that's a Monday night game.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So did they basically give you guys all the old Cowboy slots? Because I don't think that they got as many primetime games as they have the last few years.
The Cowboys, man, boy, they always have multiple Monday night games. I don't know, one of the Bears' Monday night games is against Cowboys. So
yeah,
I can pull up the Cowboys schedule here in a second. So that's based on last year's schedules. Your Chicago Bears are tied for number 20th.
Nice.
As far as their schedule, strength of schedule.
I know we play the AFC South, so that's good.
Yep. And then
Bring on Tampa.
Football returns to Thursday nights.
Oh, no, AFC South, Jacksonville.
Every Thursday night now they're going to do a game. You know how they used to start later in the season?
Yeah, they used to start around Thanksgiving.
So now they're going to do Thursday night games every week. Let's see who the Cowboys.
I'm okay with that. There are a lot of traditionalists who don't like the games popping up, on non-traditional nights. I like it. I like football. I would love for there to be a game on a Tuesday night. I know that scheduling-wise that's kind of a problem, but I don't have a problem with a Thursday night. You know what my problem with the Thursday night game is? When my team plays on Thursday night, it feels like forever until they play again.
Yeah.
Because they don't play that coming Sunday, and then they play. You have to wait another additional week. So it's almost like.
It's like another bye.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The Cowboys got 1 Monday night game, and then they've got 2 Sunday night games. No, I'm sorry, 3 Sunday night games, 1 Monday night game, and I don't believe they have any Thursday night games. So
4 is a considerable down turn. Like at least whenever it comes to their prime time, because they used to have like
That's a
8
lot,
or 9.
but that's a quarter of their season. A
Yeah.
quarter of their season's on national TV.
And don't
That's
forget-
good.
Yeah, that's good compared to like a team
Cincinnati
like mine, the Raiders
would
or
love
something.
that. Yeah. Seattle would love that.
And
Yeah.
don't forget that, these last games of the season, because they play, like for instance, December 16th, they play Pittsburgh. That's probably going to move to Sunday night if there's playoff, because that's
Right,
going to be
they
a
got
big
that.
game.
They got the flex schedule now, which is
Yeah.
something great that the NFL started doing. And when I was a kid growing up, you would have the schedule set, and they were ironclad. So
Yep.
if you had 2 last place teams,
Yep.
unfortunately scheduled for the showcase Monday night football game, you had to sit and watch 2 last place teams. They don't have to do that anymore, which is good. They can wait till that week, and they can actually move teams and say, well, this is a better matchup, so we're going to go with this, which I like. Makes for better games.
Jimmy, your Raiders have a Monday night game, the opening game of the season against San Diego, and then they play a Sunday night game against Denver on Thursday, December 6th. And then they open the season, preseason versus Dallas at home on Monday, August 13th.
All right.
So there's your little football talk for today.
All right. Anything else?
No, not really. I mean, there's a story out about synthetic marijuana on the rise, and it's far worse than regular marijuana.
Oh, you mean like that
K2.
K2 and spice, yeah.
salvia or whatever
Yeah.
that stuff is? You guys ever smoke
Oh
that stuff?
no, not salvia. K2 is a little bit different. Salvia is, that's pretty intense.
Is it?
Yeah, that's almost like if you were to take all the worst parts of like a mushroom or acid trip, and just have that.
All the worst
That's
parts?
yeah,
Like
that's
paying
what,
for it?
Yeah, that's what salvia
Yeah.
basically is. It's there's so many different things that you'll try at least twice. Salvia wasn't one of them. Salvia was try it one time and you're like, no, I'm never, ever again.
So what did it do? Did it just sort of increase your heart rate, make you jittery?
Essentially, like it, when it first started out, like everything in front of you just started kind of breaking into pieces. That's the only way that I can explain it. And then all of a sudden, like things that were making so much sense to you just moments ago are now completely wiped away, and you feel like it's never going to end. And you're just going through this like hole. It
Is
was
that-
the worst thing in the entire
Is that video
world.
still on YouTube of you doing?
Yeah,
If
I
you ever
actually-
wanna
the first
see
time I
Jimmy
ever
doing
did it.
salvia, go to YouTube and
Yeah.
What do I look under?
I think. Oh, you know what? I don't think it's up there anymore.
Oh, it's not.
No, I closed that account.
Oh, okay.
How about the other stuff? The incense as they're marketed. You ever tried those? Isn't that the K2? And that's
Yeah.
what you're talking about. That's
Yeah,
what the story's
K2
about,
and
right?
spice. Yeah,
Does that stuff work?
I've never done it.
It works, but it just doesn't feel like a real marijuana.
I tried it once.
Mhm.
You know, I was somewhere and was like, "Oh, you gotta try this? No, it's legal. No, there's nothing wrong with it. It's legal." And I remember the smell turned my stomach.
Yeah.
The taste was disgusting. I was like, "Get out of here. Give me the illegal stuff."
Yeah,
That's gross.
It really is. That taste that it puts in your mouth is the
Terrible.
worst, and
Yeah.
it's just not worth it.
And then one more quick story on that. On Good Morning America this morning, they had on the you know how they had the news crawl.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see it? So one of the news stories was, I forgot who it was, says it's calling for legalization of marijuana because it costs the government $15 billion a year to fight up against the. Oh, you have it right there.
Well, you're talking about
Yeah.
Jeffrey Miron.
Yeah, there you go.
This is the story that economists say that the United States would save billions if pot was legal. Now, this is a guy, he's a Harvard economist, okay? And he's gotten together with a bunch of other Harvard economists, and they've done this big story about, well, you know, let's take away all of the voodoo and all of the bad mojo that's attached with even the discussion of legalizing marijuana. And let's just look at the facts. We're a bunch of Harvard economists. Let's break it all down. Let's forget about the religion. Let's forget about the politics. Let's forget about the morals. Let's just talk about what this kind of cash crop would actually do with the current state of the United States economy. What would happen? Hey, we're all a bunch of Harvard economists. People listen to us when we come up with these theories. So this is what the deal is. Jeffrey Miron is his name. It says, where there's pot, there's gold. So concludes more than 300 economists who say that the government, if it got out of the business of enforcing marijuana laws, could save a whopping $7.7 billion annually. That's just from stopping arresting people and putting them in jail and funneling them through the court system and getting them in all kinds of programs and all of that. All that crap that our tax dollars go, because remember, we're still on a war on drugs. Nancy Reagan told us all those years ago, just say no. Well, it's been a ridiculous waste of money, an absolutely ridiculous waste of money. And I think more and more people are starting to sort of come around to that. More and more people understand that marijuana is not PCP. that there is a difference,
Right.
that there are categories of drugs. And unfortunately, marijuana was just lumped in with all the other drugs, so it's just as illicit and just as dangerous in the eyes of law enforcement as anything else. So this guy, Jeffrey Miron, has sort of stripped away all of that, got together with a bunch of other Ivy League and world-renowned economists and said, let's take a look at this. Let's really say what would happen here. So $7.7 billion is what they discovered they would save annually just from stopping all the BS law enforcement, just all of that stuff. Harvard economist Jeffrey Miron also figures there's another $6 billion to be mined each year by taxing the drug at rates similar to booze and tobacco. The economists, who have signed a petition, don't exactly go as far as Miron in suggesting pot be legalized, but maintain that it's high time, so to speak. And this is the most important thing. This is all they're saying about this study. They're not saying legalize it, because that's the kind of thing where you get, the anti-legalization armies. They load up their weapons and they get ready for war. Don't say that. Don't say legalize it. All they're saying is, let's just have an open and honest debate about this.
Yeah.
That's really all they want. Let's get at a table, let's sit around and let's talk about your concerns, and we'll talk about our concerns about the way you're doing it. We'll show you exactly how this can improve the life. My whole problem with marijuana is that I don't know anyone who has effed up their lives because of it.
Right.
I know people who have effed up their lives because of alcohol. I know people who have effed up their lives because of cocaine, because of taking pills that their own doctors prescribe to them.
For each of those, I don't have enough fingers on my hand that I can actually go through on each of those different things.
All legal and encouraged.
Yeah.
Marijuana, I know people who smoke marijuana every single day of their lives, and they have not screwed up their lives.
Yeah. They may have forgotten to come to your house because they said that they were going to, but that was the worst of it.
Well, as long as they don't forget to pick the kids up from school, that's, but there's a time and a place. And that's what's, I think, really important about this is you have these very well-respected economists. Jeffrey Miron is the one who's coming out front and putting his name as sort of the leader of this group. Him and 300 other economists from around the world have said, look, here's our rough numbers. We think $7.7 billion will be saved annually in law enforcement. And we also think there's another $6 billion to be made federally through taxing it, the way we tax alcohol and the way we tax tobacco. Now, we're not saying let's do this, but let's all get together. Let's load up a bowl. Let's pass it around and let's have a conversation about this, man. Come on, let's talk about this.
That is the healthiest way to go about it, too, because they were, of course, they're from Harvard. They're smart enough to know not to say those words that will end up getting people all riled up. If you do start a good conversation, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, was the first time that they can actually say that in a national poll, 52% of Americans were pro-legalization, not pro-medical marijuana, not any of that stuff. Pro-legalization, 36 or something like that were against it, and then, the other people were unknown or, whatever.
I think it works in 3 steps. I think the first step is that you have to have a federal... No, maybe not federal. But I think the first thing you need to do is you have to allow the states to legislate this on their own. If the states want to independently pass medical marijuana laws, then you got to let them do it. And you can't have the ATF kicking in their doors of their collectives every time you want to get on the headlines or something. That's the problem that's going on in California. There are these legal business owners who are operating under California law, the medical marijuana law, who are getting their doors kicked in every 6 months.
Yeah.
And this wasn't happening for a while, but it started to happen again. It just happened a couple of months ago. There was a big raid at Oaksterdam University there in Oakland. And that's sort of like, hey, we're not breaking our local laws, but you, the federal government, you're saying I'm breaking your law. Just ignore them. If the federal government law is somehow in opposition to a local law, this is all about smaller government here. Federals, get out of the way. If the local community is okay with it and they're not having gang wars in the streets, stay out of it. You're only causing a problem. You are turning business owners, you are turning tax-paying citizens of our community into criminals. Stop it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's what's happening. But I think the first thing is we need to have the states okay the medical marijuana, because there's no argument for that. If you are sick and terminal, if you are going to die, and you haven't eaten in 2 weeks, and the only thing that'll get your appetite up is if you get the munchies from smoking a little weed, what kind of a monster would say that you, old person in pain, you can't have this? So first it's medical. Then you got to get rid of the criminalization. You got to decriminalize it so that when you do get busted with it, you don't go to jail. It's like a speeding ticket, or it's like spitting on the sidewalk. And then the third one would be further down the road, and that's full-on legalization. I'm not even asking for that right now. I want sick people to be able to have it.
Yeah.
And I want it to be decriminalized.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I think that as long as you got, this almost like a checkerboard effect of states that are okay with medical marijuana, it makes it to where the other states are just sitting there going, well, what's the point? We held out long enough.
Have you ever seen, there was a documentary a couple of years back about the whole medical marijuana. It was one of those HBO things. Everyone who is steadfast, a warrior in the war on drugs. Everyone needs to see this movie. It's so sad and it's so depressing. It's like, there was this 40-something-year-old single mom of 2 kids who has leukemia, and she's still working her job and then she got arrested for having marijuana in her purse during a traffic stop. And now she's going to she's dying. She's dying, and she's trying to support her kid. The only way that she can eat, the only way she can get up and get through the day is with this natural, organic medication that God put on this earth. And because of it, she's a criminal. Because it's not in pill form. Because it's not something that she got prescribed from her doctor.
And that is one of the more disgusting parts of this whole thing is that
it's mean. It's just mean.
Yeah, and they'll sell you Marinol, which is a synthetic version of the original thing that you wanted in the first place.
Right, yeah.
So unless they're able to synthetically make it and give it to you in pill form and sell it to you, then they aren't interested. You know what I mean? That's the only reason why this seems to still be an issue.
That's crazy, though. That's like, you don't have to make a synthetic form. You don't have to. It grows everywhere.
Yeah, it's a weed,
This
literally.
is a wasted step. You guys boiling it down and putting it into pill form, it's a wasted step. That's not how people want to ingest it anyway.
Yeah. Unbelievable. But you know what? I think that we're actually at that tipping point where, some of that stuff starts
20
to go
years.
by the wayside.
20 years. I think we're still 20 years away, but...
Yeah.
Well, wait a second. What do I think on gay marriage? I think gay marriage is 10 years away. I think legalized marijuana is 20. Yeah, I'll go with 20.
Wow, you think that it's going to go that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm just painfully optimistic. I'm thinking it's all going to be within like the next 10 years.
10 years is not a lot of time, man. 10 years.
I feel like with the internet, things are happening at like a breakneck pace. You know what I mean? Like, because everything's just happening exponentially. So, and like things happen more virally. I'm hoping anyway that, that will turn things over. 20 years from now when it happens, I'll be like, God damn it, Pugs was right.
Here's the problem that marijuana legalization has working against it. People who smoke marijuana are pretty chill.
Right.
They're not going to be marching in the streets, waving flags, and forcing people's hands on this issue because they're chilled out. And the ones that do are the ones that you don't want representing the cause.
Yeah.
It's like, I used to say this. I used to say, you'd watch Jerry Springer or these daytime talk shows, and they'd always do, Geraldo was great for this, they'd always do White Supremacist Day, where they bring out these Ku Klux Klan members and these Aryan Nation guys. And I used to, now look, I'm certainly no fan of the white supremacist, but I used to sit and watch and go, really? You couldn't have found a spokesman with all his teeth? Really? You had to get the goober with the hook arm and the missing teeth and the swastika on his forehead? That's the guy. There's not a dude in a suit out there who can speak about, the white supremacy movement and all of this, who would maybe be a little bit better. No, they went for the creepiest, weirdest looking guys. And whenever they show these marijuana people, it's always this guy. It's always this guy. See the guy that they're showing in the picture?
Yeah.
He looks like a 50-year-old old hippie with a scraggly beard, and he's wearing a ball cap with a giant pot leaf on it, and he's lighting a joint. And it's like, he's a dirtbag because it's not even a good-sized joint. It's like a little roach that he's been saving because he doesn't have a pot to piss in.
He's the guy that if he gets into your elevator, you smell the weed roll right off of him.
But he doesn't think he smells like weed.
Yeah.
No. He's one of those guys.
And it does completely, it just doesn't compare well right now. For if you look at Prohibition era protests, you'll see these guys that are walking down the street with signs that say, like, we want beer. But they're dressed so nicely. Yeah. They all got, like, nice suits. They all look like they're going to an interview.
Then.
Yeah.
We had class.
It was, of course you're going to listen to those guys. Look at those well-dressed people out in the street wanting beer.
It's funny you bring this up because, I've always said that something happened. There was a turning point in our culture, American culture, where we all stopped having class. Look at baseball game footage from the 1950s. dudes are wearing shirts, ties, and hats to a baseball game.
Yeah.
Ties. And you know what didn't exist back then? The logo T-shirt. You never see any footage of Lou Gehrig out there, and the dude in the front row has a Nike T-shirt on. No, the dude's wearing a shirt, a tie, all of that stuff. Here's my theory on when it all went haywire, okay? Now, I guess you have to decide what side are you on. Do you like the more formal approach to everyday attire, or are you, happy with the way we've sort of devolved into this? Well, we have,
Yeah.
Shorts and T-shirts and ball caps everywhere, 50-year-old men dressing like 15-year-old kids. It's ridiculous. Look at when this happened, and I'm going to give you a cultural watershed moment, okay? Mm-hmm. When the Beatles appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, what were they wearing? Suits.
Yeah.
They were wearing suits. They were a rock band in suits. They were doing that whole thing. Then they came to America, they started hanging out with Bob Dylan, and they started doing drugs. And once the drug culture kind of seeped in, that's when our rock stars stopped wearing suits and started dressing all weird. And that's when the kids who looked up to the rock stars stopped wearing suits to baseball games. That's when it all happened. It was when rock stars started getting high that everybody stopped putting ties on. Because if you ever tried to put a tie on when you're stoned, it's not easy. It's not easy. And that's, I believe, when it all started. It was in the 60s there when marijuana crept its way into American youth culture that everyone stopped dressing up. They started wearing psychedelic stuff. And that really invented the T-shirt.
Yeah.
You're
totally right. I can't find a single picture pre-1940 that they aren't all completely properly dressed.
There is no such thing as casual attire pre-1965.
I want to try to find one person wearing a T-shirt pre-1940.
Wouldn't that be a funny meme, like an internet meme? Get like an old picture of a Yankees game from like the 50s and a crowd shot behind him and just have one dude wearing a Just Do It shirt. Surrounded by all of these guys in hats and, they're all smoking. And,
the modern douchebag version of Where's Waldo.
Yeah. Yes, an Affliction shirt.
Yeah.
Dude with the Affliction shirt and spiked hair sitting right next to a guy with a rolled up newspaper and a cigarette in his hand.
Yeah. Monocle.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about that, though? I mean, that culturally speaking, I do think that that's when it all changed. Or somewhere in the mid-'60s when youth culture sort of stopped getting dressed up. They started growing their hair long. They stopped getting haircuts. Started wearing, blue jeans. Here's another thing. I don't think my grandfather owned a pair of blue jeans his entire life.
Yeah.
You know what he wore? Slacks. He had slacks. I don't own slacks. Do you have any slacks?
No.
I've got dress pants, and I've got cargo pants, and I've got blue jeans. I don't have any slacks. My grandpa had, like, green slacks and brown slacks and black slacks and blue slacks. And they were slacks.
Wouldn't be caught dead without slacks.
No. Slacks. Slacks and a button-up shirt with short sleeves.
Man, it really is. It's a completely different world.
Yeah.
Let's start a movement to bring slacks back.
Well, I don't know that we need to bring slacks back. I don't even know that I want to go back to a more formal, sort of world. But it is interesting to see that, I do think that there was definitely a period of time, and I've got it between the Beatles' appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show and the Summer of Love. So somewhere between 63 and 67 is when that all changed.
Yeah.
People started growing their hair long. They stopped wearing suits. And it's the thing. It's the suits to a baseball game. Here's another thing. And my mom's pretty classy. My mom, when I was a kid, she always had me. My mom had me dressing fantastic as a kid. Single mom, the world was already looking down their nose at her, so I always had to look good. But my mom was a hippie. She was like a hipster, cool chick. So I looked like a cool little kid for 1973. I had really long hair, crazy bell-bottom pants and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I can remember when we would fly on an airplane.
Was this to go visit rock stars?
No, this was just to go visit friends. But we'd fly on an airplane, and I remember having to wear a suit. And I remember my mom, these things stick in your mind. I remember her telling me that, this is a treat. This is not something that we do a lot. We treat it special. It's just like going out to a nice dinner. Right. You dress up. So I'm a little kid on an airplane with a suit and tie. And, this is like 1974, 1975 or something like that. And now, Now it's like, what is the most comfortable clothes I could possibly? Is there like a? Can I just wear a Snuggie on an airplane? Snuggie and boxer shorts? I would if I could. Flip flop Snuggie and a boxer shorts. If I could get away with flying that way, that's how it would be. But as a culture, we once dressed up to fly on airplanes, and now it's like a Greyhound bus.
Yeah. And even the pilots, they used to sit there and hang out with the kids, give them pins, that you got to meet the pilot. Now they just fall asleep in the cabin.
Yeah, and sometimes have breaks from sanity.
Yeah,
like we saw recently. Sam, well, got anything else? I see you looking up bacon on Wikipedia. I can't fault you for that.
Oh, the Wikipedia, because Wendy's just tweeted the Wikipedia entry for bacon is our homepage. Two quick entertainment stories. Nicolette Sheridan, who you were mentioning before the show, she's been granted a retrial against ABC in her case for being fired illegally and wants the $5 million still, because that went to a hung jury of 8-4. Sources on TMZ are saying this is never going to get to retrial. ABC will try and settle with her. And Charlie Sheen's new show. Have you seen the promos for Anger Management?
All right. So Charlie Sheen, we all know, winning and all of that. I'm a white Egyptian tiger. All that crap.
He's gotten his crap together. He doesn't know why he acted. Well, he says he has.
Yeah.
But the show is being sued now for $50 million before it even airs.
All right. So Anger Management was the Adam Sandler, Jack Nicholson movie.
Yeah.
Very funny movie. Just watched it a couple of months ago on demand. I was looking for something to watch, and I went, you know what? I guess there's a new show coming out. I should reintroduce myself to the original. Funny movie, really funny movie. FX has decided to turn it into a weekly sitcom.
10-week commitment. It's a 10-week commitment, and then after that they'll decide.
FX does good stuff.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen, not so much, but FX does good stuff. So I'm sort of interested in what they're going to do here.
Have you seen the promos of Charlie in the coffin, basically acting like, "Hey, you're dead, but I'm on FX"?
That's why I'm concerned. That's why I'm concerned about the show, because the promos that FX is running for the show, they're not actually clips from what we're going to see. They're just Charlie going, "Hey, watch my new show," or something like that. Give us a taste of something. It concerns me that they don't want us to see what it is.
Yeah, it's all hype.
Yeah, they want us to just tune in and be surprised. But yes, and they're doing like well, his father's in it with him. Isn't Martin Sheen?
I think he's going to make him,
well?
and Denise Richards is going to be on the show too.
Yeah.
She said she just filmed actually the other day.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
It would be kind of like nice if you saw nothing but this new project that Charlie Sheen is so stoked about. Like he's kind of reinventing what he's doing. It could turn out to be this great new show. But yeah, instead they're just going to tease you with these stupid kind of bitty type things.
I think they're hiding something.
Yeah.
It's like they don't want me to see how cheeseball and corny it is.
Yeah.
So they're just going to lure me in with, the danger of Charlie Sheen and get me to watch this thing. I don't know.
It's going to take a lot because, like, Charlie Sheen, towards the end of that, I couldn't even tune into his Ustream channel. Like, I'm not trying to watch that.
Who's involved with this behind the scenes? Anybody? Like, is there a pedigree to it that I might go, oh.
Well, Joe Roth, I think Joe Roth is like his uncle or his grandfather. Well, not grandfather, but like an uncle once removed or something. He's responsible for the Major League movies and Bachelor Party movie, and he's the one that got this show on the air. Now, this guy, Jason Schumann, claims that he's responsible for turning this TV version of the famous movie into the series with Joe Roth. He said they had a deal, and he would get a huge chunk of the profits. Schumann claims Roth is backing out of the deal now, and he's suing him now for $50 million to live up to his part of the bargain. So we'll see where this goes once it gets to trial, if Joe Roth tried to screw this guy out of money.
When does it debut? When does the show come on?
I think in June. I think next couple months in June.
Okay, all right.
Because that's when Louis comes back. That's when the show with the dog that's the human, but only, what's his name? Wilfred. Yeah. Speaking of new shows, did you watch Girls the other night on HBO?
I did watch Girls. Did everybody watch Girls on HBO?
Did.
Yeah.
Okay, first thing that stood out to me about Girls is it's the first show all right, how do I say this without being really rude? It's the first show I think I've ever seen to cast all ugly people in the main roles. You have a show on HBO called Girls. I'm thinking they're going to be hot girls.
Right.
They're not.
Well, the British girl wasn't too bad looking.
Who was the British girl?
The friend.
What did she do?
She's the one. She was the friend, the British girl at the end. She came in midway through.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's not bad. Well, you know the other friend, the uptight friend?
Yeah.
That's Brian Williams' daughter. NBC
Oh, is
News
it?
Brian Williams.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's Brian Williams' daughter. I thought it was pretty good, though. I mean, I thought it was okay.
I thought it was almost like the female equivalent of Louis, where it's just really dry and honest, and you're not going for like the obvious punchline.
The girl who is the star of it is she's not only the star of it, she's everything. She writes it, she directs it. She's like a...
Yeah, in conjunction with Judd Apatow.
Yeah, he's sort of mentoring her on this. And she's like... It's basically, I saw her yesterday on an interview. Well, actually, it was on HBO. When a movie runs too short and they got to fill with some time, they do these little fillers. She was saying, how would you describe the movie? And she would say, well, it's a story about girls who are, wait, what did she say? She said they're not girls anymore, but they're also not quite women yet. And that's really what it is. It's a couple of early 20s girls living in New York trying to, make do.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's just incredibly honest.
I think it's great that they're not attractive. I really do.
I do too, yeah.
It's like, look, you went out and you actually cast someone who's got talent based on something more than how they look. Because that girl really is good.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like her actor boyfriend that she just bangs.
Yeah.
He's not really into her, but he's kind of a douche. But
I think that was one of the more funny sex scenes I've ever seen, where she just like kind of leans over and just stays there.
Right, yeah. He's on the couch with her, and he bends her legs back over, and he takes her hand, and he goes, grab your ankles. And she grabs her ankles, and the guy gets up, and he goes, all right, I'll be right back. I'm going to go get some lube. And she's staying there on the couch holding her ankles, and she's going, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Just hold your ankles. I'm getting the lube.
And then meanwhile, our friend's back at the party going, I'm pretty sure I know what she's doing.
Yeah. But that guy, the guy who plays, that's an interesting character. I want to see more of that guy. He's like a struggling 20-something New York actor who just bangs this girl for the sex. And he's nice to her. They get along. They're like friends. Yeah. But he's not into her. Like, he doesn't want to have a relationship with her or anything. I thought that was a really interesting character.
Yeah. I think that the whole show is like real. I think it's really heading somewhere.
You know what it is? It's Sex in the City. It's a realistic Sex in the City. It's Sex in the City for the non-beautiful people. You know?
Yeah. And it just, I think that a lot of people tried to fantasize with that whole Sex in the City thing, that's what girls do all the time. You know what I mean? And like most of their time, they're doing what's happening in this girls show. It's just that happened to be the scene that you watched. Like, I think that a lot of people got really caught up in that. I think that this is going to be kind of nice for people to get
I
this.
hated Sex in the City.
Yeah.
I absolutely hated it.
Really?
I hated what it did to women.
Right.
I had to date all of those girls who were Sex in the City freaks, who thought that, everyone's a Samantha or everybody's... And it's just so...
Which one are you? Which one are you?
Well, I'm a Samantha. But you know what? You're also a bit of a Charlotte. Is it Charlotte? I don't even know the character.
Charlotte Samantha, yeah.
I refuse to watch that show. And I also hated that they glorified smoking. That was another reason that I didn't watch that show. Well, actually, here's the thing. Sarah Jessica Parker is not hot. Stop trying to convince me that she's hot. She's not. She's ugly.
She's a smoking body. Just not a
whatever.
Pretty face.
All right, everybody says that. She's got a smoking body. Have you ever seen the movie Mars Attacks?
Nuh-uh.
Okay. Have you ever seen Mars Attacks?
I might have.
All right. There is a scene where they take Sarah Jessica's head off of her body and put it on a chihuahua. And it's a chihuahua walking around with a Sarah Jessica Parker head. If you saw that, you would be like, no, she's not hot. That is just, she is not attractive.
I thought you were going to say that in Mars Attacks, they used Sarah Jessica Parker's face for the Martians as their attack. I was about to say, I'm getting this immediately as we leave here.
No. She was, a Martian got ticked off at her. And so the Martian took her head off and put it on her chihuahua's body. But no, she's not attractive. Here's what you had with Sex in the City. You had Sarah Jessica Parker, who was not attractive, who everyone tried to tell me was attractive but isn't. Then you had Kim Cattrall, who was super attractive, but she was just such a dirty whore.
I love that.
Ugh. I had no respect for that character.
Oh, no. She was just Well, if that was a guy, it would have been all right. She was just being what a normal guy tries to be.
The best looking one was
Kristen Davis.
the brunette, Kristen Davis. But she was a basket case. All she wanted was a rich guy to take care of her whole life. So that wasn't it wasn't a character that I was drawn to. And then there was Miranda. Miranda was the redhead, the one that was probably not as hot as the rest of them, although I do think hotter than Sarah Jessica Parker. But she was the one that was, the most, the one that I would be interested in the most. And it turns out she's a lesbian.
In real life.
So, did she go lesbian in the show too?
No.
Thought she did.
No, Samantha did.
Yeah.
With that Brazilian chick, that Brazilian lady for a couple episodes.
This is definitely a step in the right direction, though, I think. Kind of, having the exact same story but more realistic. You aren't going to have... People aren't going to be fighting over which character they are on this show. They don't want to be one of the characters because it's too honest. They already are.
Yeah, that's true. You're the fat one with acne.
Yeah.
No.
No, you're the one who sleeps with guys that really aren't interested. They just need somebody to sleep with.
You brought up something interesting, though. You said that the English girl, one of the... it's basically the story of three friends. It centers around one girl who... the opening scene... Who, by the way, it was Peter Scolari from Bosom Buddies plays her dad, which was interesting. The opening scene of this show is they're out to dinner in New York. It's a mom and dad and the daughter who lives in New York, and the mom and dad have come in from Ohio or wherever to check up on their girl. And they use this dinner as an opportunity to tell her that she's being cut off, that they are no longer going to be paying her rent.
Yeah,
they are no longer going to be paying for anything.
Isn't she like 26 or something, and they're still supporting her? Or 25?
I think she's like 24 because they said that you graduated college 2 years ago. You've been doing an internship for 2 years. When are they going to start paying you? We need to cut you off. And her reaction, this is what got me on the show. We're talking about the new HBO show, Girls. Her reaction was so honest. Yeah. It wasn't sitcom-y. It wasn't anything. It was like it went from, okay, I can handle this. I can get them back on my side, to her realizing that they were not going to budge, and that Daddy, who is the pushover, who is the guy trying to slide her checks under the table, is being completely C-blocked, cash blocked by the mom, who is like just a Nazi on this point. That you are not getting another dime out of us. What did she want? She wanted... The mom said something. I want a lake house. That's what the mom said. She goes, we're cutting you off. I want a lake house. Did you go to the page?
Yeah.
What's that girl's Williams name? What's her?
Right here. She is.
I was surprised to learn she's Brian.
Marnie Michaels. Allison Williams. She's hot though. What are you saying? She's pretty hot. Look at that picture of her.
Yes. Brian Williams from NBC News' daughter is the most attractive, but water seeks its own level.
Yeah.
None of the other girls are really attractive, so the one that's the most attractive is going to look good, you know?
Much like real life.
But if you put her with a bunch of Sunbrew girls, she's going to be the one with the clipboard.
All right, you're next. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally dig it. I can't wait for the next one.
You know what I want to do? We've got a quick movie review here. If you want to talk about a movie that I saw that I would love you guys to check out. Excuse me. Do we usually take a break or something? Or
we can just keep going.
I'm fine if you guys are fine.
Okay.
I saw a movie. Last week I told you about Goon, I think.
Yeah, Goon, the
hockey movie. Have you guys seen that yet?
I'm getting it on DVD to give away.
Goon is awesome. Goon is very funny. I saw a movie that blew my mind. It's called God Bless America. Have you guys heard about this
I've
movie?
heard about it, yeah. That's the Bobcat Goldthwait?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've heard it's been getting nothing but... I saw him on... was it Conan last week? He was on one of the talk shows, but... No, Jimmy Kimmel. But I'm hearing nothing but great things about this movie that you wouldn't even know it's Bobcat.
Well, I mean, it depends. If you are... I'm a fan of Bob Goldthwait. I think that he's an excellent writer. Shakes the Clown is one of the best independent comedies ever made, and that was his first directorial
He's not in the
attempt.
Movie, though, is he?
No, he's a director.
Yeah, didn't he direct and write it and all that? Yeah,
wrote and directed it.
Because I mentioned Bobcat to Jimmy last week, and he didn't know. I don't think Jimmy is familiar with who he is. Remember he lit the chair on fire was it on Johnny Carson or Jay Leno years ago?
He's got a new Showtime stand-up special that's really good.
Is it?
It's really good, and he talks about all of that stuff. He talks about being kicked off the Tonight Show, and he talks about making movies, and Shakes the Clown, and he's an interesting guy. I mean, he was an '80s comic who got stuck as a character.
He's like a Yeah.
screaming guy.
Like a Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
But Pinhold as like a character.
But that's not who he is. When you hear like this new Showtime stand-up special, he's just a guy, and people, he even does a point in the thing where he's like, okay, I guess everybody wants me to scream. Like he does that. And he's like, okay, we don't do that anymore. He's a really smart, interesting guy. Probably best known for being the voice of the puppet on that Married with Children spinoff, Unhappily Ever After.
Oh, yeah.
Remember with Nikki Cox?
Yeah, that didn't last too long.
I remember hearing about it.
It lasted like 15 years. That show was on forever.
Unhappily Ever After?
Yeah, that show was on forever.
Was that on that long?
Yeah.
Oh. Let's see. I remember the show. Unhappily Ever After.
Yeah, it was. He played the voice of like.
It aired for 100 episodes I was on the WB network.
When did it air? I thought it was on for a long ass time. You know what it is? It's still on in syndication.
Yeah,
so you see it everywhere.
1995 to 1999 for a total of 4.5 seasons on the WB network.
Oh, okay. All right. So at any rate, by the way, there's an interesting story about how that show came to be. The people who created Married with Children, they had a huge hit with Married with Children, and one of the co-creators of Married with Children said, "I want more money," and they said, "No, you're just an associate." And he goes, well, "I've been writing every episode. What are you talking about?" And they said, "No, sorry, you can't have any more money. Married with Children is fine. We'll be fine without you." And he said, "Fine, I'm going to go and create the exact same show somewhere else and have a hit with it." And he did. He came up with Unhappily Ever After, and all he did was added a sock puppet as Bobcat. But even the characters all look the same. Nikki Cox was Christina Applegate. You know, it was all the same. The father who played the father on Unhappily Ever After looks exactly like Al Bundy. Is he like the exact same actor? Yeah, and it was the same show. And it was just sort of a big F you.
Yeah, the theme song played over the opening was Bobcat singing, "We married young because of Cupid, and has 3 kids, but we were stupid. She kicked me out. She's not my honey, but she still wants me when she needs money. Now I'm alone, come rain or sunny, but who needs love? I've got my bunny." Yeah,
his bunny was the. It's hard to stupid, really stupid, but. That guy just wanted to prove that, you know.
Hey, good for him.
Yeah.
You know, he started a show, and they didn't want to, you know, that's the thing that is so aggravating to me about these things. He got screwed out by,
I think it was Michael Moy is the guy who screwed him out of the deal with Married with Children. So he went, fine, I'll go create another show somewhere else. It'll be exactly the same thing, and I'll be a parasite on your back.
Good for him.
And he did. All right, so Bob Goldthwait's got this new movie out that he directed. It's called God Bless America. It stars Joel Murray. You guys know who Joel Murray is?
Yeah, isn't he related to Bill Murray?
He's the little brother. He's Bill Murray's little brother. But when I say little brother, Joel Murray's in his 50s. So, you know, he's a grown-ass man. Yeah, you got Brian Doyle Murray, who's the oldest. Then you've got Bill Murray, who's the most famous. And then you've got Joel Murray, who is... Joel Murray is one of these guys that you recognize instantly. You're like, oh, I've seen that guy in a million things. You might not know that he's Bill Murray's little brother, but you're like, oh, yeah, that guy's funny. I've seen that guy in things. Did a lot of sitcoms, did a lot of that kind of stuff. So Bill Murray's brother, Joel Murray, in God Bless America, plays a guy. Now, get this. He's going through a divorce with his wife, okay? His wife is now shacked up with a cop. Which that sucks. Your ex-wife is, you know, with a cop now. You get out of line. You know, it's like, oh, jeez. So he's got that kind of a problem. His kids are awful. His kids are just awful, modern 12-year-olds. You know, shallow, mean. I want. And, you know, all he wants to do is love his kids, but his kids are terrible. They're just mean to him. He loses his job in like cutbacks or layoffs or something, whatever happens. He loses his job. Then he goes to the doctor and finds out that he's got a brain tumor and that he's dying. He's only got 6 months left to live. So this guy's entire life is just absolute hell. No job. His kids hate him. His wife is shacked up with a cop. He's got a brain tumor now on top of it. And all he does is he sits at home and watches TV. Hours and hours of Kardashians, hours and hours of The Bachelor, reality shows, all of this over and over and over. And he just gets angrier and angrier and angrier with the world with watching these things. So he's watching this reality series, and it was called like Big Super 16 Sweet Party on one of these channels, and he's watching it, and he sees this girl, this character, Brittany, on the show, is given a Lexus for her 16th birthday. And she throws a hissy fit because she wanted an Escalade. And she's screaming at her parents, "You hate me! You don't love me! All I wanted was an Escalade and you got me a Lexus! Oh, I'm sorry, darling. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I knew we screwed up. I knew we should have gotten the Escalade. Oh, I'm so, we'll take it back. We'll get it for you. No, I hate you." It's this. And he's just sitting there watching this. And he decides he's going to go kill this bitch. he's dying, right? He's got said. We're talking about the movie God Bless America. He's dying. His life is in the toilet. So he drives to wherever this show takes place, this reality show. And he's sitting outside the parking lot, the high school parking lot, and he sees this reality star bitch walking through the parking lot, and he's like, "Okay, I'm going to get her. I'm going to get her." But then this other girl, this little freshman girl, sees him, and she's like, "Hey, creepy," because he's like a dude sitting in a car looking at high school kids. And he has this run-in with this little girl, and then he ends up, it plays it out. He gets the star of the reality show. He puts her in the car, the Lexus that she was getting into, handcuffs her to the steering wheel, and then walks over to the gas tank, lights a rag, puts it in the gas tank and lights the rag on fire. But that doesn't work. The wind comes and it blows it out. So when he's like, "Oh," and she's screaming and she's banging. He's like, "Get me out of here! Get me out of here!" And he's like, "Oh." So then finally he sees some other kids coming. So he just takes the gun out and goes boom, 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 pops him right into her and kills her. He runs back to his car where he finds the girl, the freshman, sitting there that called him creepy. And she's like, "Did you just kill Brittany so-and-so?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's like, "You're my hero." So these two team up, and she convinces him. This little girl convinces him that since he's only got 6 months to live, he should leave the world a better place. And they make a hit list of all of these reality people. There's a Bill O'Reilly guy that they hunt down in Central Park and shoot him while he's jogging. It is so great. It is called God Bless America. It is very funny. It's extremely well done. And it's just perfect for these times that we live in, because I thought, you know what? If I was terminal with a brain kind of issue, I might take some MFers out with me.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm blown away that this doesn't happen more often. Just blown away.
Well, it's a very controversial movie because of the themes, and people are afraid of copycats and all that kind of stuff. It's art. It's a comment on the world we live in. I am not going to somehow subjugate that because some loser idiot out there might take it as a hit. That guy's crazy already. I can't change the world that I'm enjoying to make sure it's safe for this rubber room kid. He's going to go out and kill somebody or do something regardless of this movie. He's crazy, you see. And the movie isn't the reason he's crazy. He's crazy because he's defective. So, it's getting... People are saying that
how great would it
needs to be banned and all that.
How great would it be, really, though, if this struck fear, if something like that happened and it struck fear into people that were actually wanting to be reality show contestants so much that they wouldn't show up. And all these people are trying to do reality shows, but they can't find contestants.
Well, the common theme that runs through the whole movie is a William Hung type character that's on American Superstar, which is just like Idol. And he's kind of retarded, but he come down and he sings this song and everybody laughs and, oh, it's so funny. And the lead character, Joel Murray, cannot stomach that America is just grouping up and making fun of this guy. And that's sort of the running theme. Like, as they're driving across the country, a song comes on the radio, and it's the dude, and the DJ's like, "Hey, isn't this crazy? Hey, this retard's got a song out. Let's all laugh at him." And he's like, it's just about how mean of a culture we've become, and how, people are just rotten. So it's a good movie. God Bless America.
I already got it written down.
4 stars. I can't get the best movie I've seen in a very long time. It is an excellent, excellent movie.
I'm going to be watching it today, for sure.
Well, I know it's available. Actually, here's the thing. It's still in movie theaters. Like, it's still in art house.
I'm sure it's available for download.
Well, it is. I know somebody who watched it that way. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So there you go. That's a little movie thing. You want to take a quick break here?
Sounds great. Yeah.
And then we'll come back. And you want to talk about the Secret Service stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Let's get into the Secret Service. Also, Jimmy and I, we have a new song that we want to play for you.
Yes.
Maybe get it stuck in your head.
Well, do you want to do that right now?
Nah.
Oh, okay. You want to do that during the next break?
Yeah. Well, we should listen to it and talk about it.
Okay.
Because hot girls have problems too. We should listen to that song. All right, we got a whole bunch more coming up. It's the Bar Live. Sam and Jimmy and myself, I'm Pugs. We're going to take a quick break so that we can, drain the lizard and all that good stuff, and we'll be back after this. More from thebarlive.com.
Lollipop, lollipop, breast is just like Dolly Parton. She ride my spaceship till she hit the top. That hit the spot till she asks how many licks do it take till she get the shot. Don't worry why my wrist got so free. Tell a girl like Doritos, that's nacho cheese. Tell her friends like Fritos, I'm trying to late. I can only have one and I ain't trying to wait. It's a song with wings and you know it's gon' melt, but you ain't gonna murder me like everybody else. I'ma rap like I got some type of respect for myself. I don't do it for my health, man, I do it for the belt. Man, I do it to the depth, till the roof get melt. 100 degrees, drop the roof so the coupe don't melt. Man, the flow so cold, chicken soup won't help. We need 4 more hoes, we need You know what it is when we out of town. We ballin' 2 C's and you out of bounds. So come here, baby girl, you're now fucking with the best in the world. Lollipop, she looking like the best in the world. Shawty say she wanna look the right down, and she wanna look the right down, and I just wanna act like a porno flicking actor. I don't need to be now she caught up in that rapture. I got so much chips, I swear they call me Hewlett-Packard. I got so much chips, you can have a bag if you're a snacker. Greedy little fudge cake, now tell me how that fudge tastes. I do it for blood's sake, so we'll make it so good. How the roof do the dissipate. Your girl wants to participate. She's so sophisticated, 'cause the brain is off the chain, and then my diamonds are in the quiet because they sang from off my chain. And I need to join the game because all she do is bang. Like Ricky got it ready, can you pick your poison? And the woman wanna cut the tell her I am Mr. Ointment. Tell her make an appointment with Mr. I can't make an appointment. Take my lollipop and enjoy it. She make me bottles in the club. Shawty wanna come, you know I'm like a touch. Shawty wanna come, shawty wanna come, shawty wanna come. Bottles in the club. Shawty wanna come, you know I'm like a touch. Why would she? She probably be the odd picture in the plastic bag, about to get crushed by a building. I flushed out the feeling of me doing the shit, 'cause I was leaving skid marks on everywhere I sit. I go everywhere I'm in, like I can go anywhere, any minute, mine more. I'm in your neighborhood, area, see thing, take that iPod, the girlfriend, and she said I got great sex, safe sex is great sex. Better wear a latex, 'cause she don't want that latex, that I think I'm latex. So wrap it up, but he's so sweet, she wanna let go. Like a lollipop, lollipop. She lick me like a lollipop, lollipop. She lick me like a lollipop, lollipop. She lick me like a lollipop, lollipop.
I said, he's so sweet, the rapper. Remix, baby.
Lollipop, lollipop, breast is just like Dolly Parton. She ride my spaceship till she hit the top. That hit the spot till she asked how many licks do it take.
All right, it's thebarlive.com. I'm Pugs. I'm in for Brandon today. Brandon is out tending to Sunbrew business. Sam and Jimmy are with me, as they are all the time. They kind of run this joint. Hi, Sam. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, good to have you, man.
There we go. Hey.
We are here at the Sunbrew House, so maybe we'll start this next hour or pod burst. Hey, look, this next pod burst.
Add that to podcasting vocabulary.
Yeah. This little pod burst, which could be anywhere from a 15 to 45 minute segment. Who knows? We're at the Sunbrew House, so I thought that we would play a little song here for you. I stumbled across this song today. Sam, are you a big fan of the viral memes or the viral pop songs that come out? Coming to mind, Rebecca Black's Friday was certainly a big hit.
That song was okay.
Justin Bieber got discovered. His entire career began because he was So yeah, we cannot turn our noses up and scoff at this any longer. I mean, look, there isn't a bigger pop star on the planet than the Biebs, and he started out as a YouTube sensation.
Friday, it was embarrassing how much I had that stuck in my head for at least months.
Now, explain this to me, because I really am not as up on. I know about it now. Rebecca Black, a Canadian teenager who recorded a song about how much she loves Fridays.
Right.
Right? Now, take it from there. What happened with it?
Well, basically what happened is she had her birthday that was coming up, and for her, I believe it was 16th birthday, her parents got her a deal over at a basically a production company who makes kind of cheap.
Cool, you can make a song.
Yeah.
Daddy bought you 20 hours of studio time.
Yeah, and they had a song named Friday that she was going to sing, so everything was prepared for her. She goes through the entire thing, and it starts kind of getting big because of a website called 4chan. So people on 4chan, all they do is just go through the internet and make fun of people. That's what they do. And they come across this. It's perfect bait, so they start playing into it. And that turns into its own little meme, and it starts getting pushed to other
Is that how we
websites.
pronounce it? Is it meme or meme?
Meme. Yeah,
meme?
Yeah.
M-E-M-E.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And it just kind of had an energy of its own. It just kind of started going everywhere.
It became huge. It became the most requested song in America. Legitimate major market pop stations were adding it to the rotation. And it started out, as I recall, as being a bit of a tongue-in-cheek joke. Like, oh, it's so terrible. You got to hear this. But then that damn infernal catchy hook that changed a lot, because then it actually became a real song. And she's got, as I understand it, a record deal now, and she's, living in Hollywood.
And the thing that you can always tell if something's going to turn into a massive, massive song, and it's if they already have remixes. If you're hearing about it and you're able to find YouTube remixes already, that's when it's going to get out of hand. That's always the judge, the bar that you have to see.
Well, trying to stay one step ahead of the What's Cool curve, we are going to be debuting a song here. I saw it this morning for the first time. I think it's probably the next Friday song. Sam, have you heard this song?
No, I haven't.
All right, here, I'm going to set this up for you. It's two girls in the back of a limousine. Two girls. Jimmy, how old would you say these girls are? I'm the creepy old guy, so I don't want to get weird here, but how old would you say these girls are?
They're probably 14 or 15.
Oh, you went that young on me. Really? You went that young?
No, I guess maybe 15.
I'm going
15.
17 to 18 in my head, just because I need them to be 18.
I know, but these, the thing is that girls around 14 or 15, they're really wanting to be that age.
Yeah, they're trying. They're trying to be 25-year-olds.
Exactly.
They're definitely dressed in with the makeup and the hair extensions. They are trying to be 25-year-olds.
Yeah, so they're playing the part. You don't. It's not entirely your fault.
See, I'm being victimized by our slipping cultural morals.
Yeah.
Look at me. Okay, Sam. The group, they've actually created a name for themselves, although they are not actual performers. It's like you can't go and see them, at the local pub on Friday. But they've named themselves Double Take, and they are two very cute young girls. Okay?
Double Take, I'm going to look them up.
The song that they have is called Hot Problems. Okay? Are you following me here? We are at the Sunbrew House. Boy, if any house has seen its fair share of hot problems, I'm sure that this house has. So let's play this. Let's give it a listen. It's these two very attractive young girls singing about how difficult it is to be a hot girl. Okay? So let's give this a listen. Hot Problems by Double Take. Jimmy, whenever you feel.
It's playing right now, actually. It's running the intro, I think.
Okay. All right. Once again, this is Hot Problems, the official single by the band Double Take. Two girls who I believe are 18. Jimmy is going crazy. All right, here it is. Sam, can you hear it?
Yeah.
All right, turn the lights off, get the glow sticks.
Look at me and tell me the truth. What do you do when people don't know what we go through? They see my blonde hair, blue eyes in class, but they don't know I have a really big heart. Don't get me wrong.
See what they did there?
I know that I'm hot, but textbook perfection really takes a lot. Weird guys call my phone, and girls call me names, but like Miley said, I can't be
All right, can you pause it?
Yes.
All right.
We had problems.
Oh, no, let it go. No, forget it. Now we got the chorus. Okay, we'll go back to the chorus. Sam, you are now seeing
We're
these
just
girls.
like-
Oh.
How old are these girls in your estimation?
Wow, they do look 15, 16.
Oh, man, you're going young.
They are hot, though.
Well,
Hopefully they'll do porn when they're old enough.
when they're old enough. Okay, all right, let's go back to their song. This is the chorus. This is the...
You, except we're hot.
All right, we'll have to double back to that.
Open their eyes and realize we're not perfect, and sometimes we lie. I got the look, I got the butt, but those things don't make me a slut. Boys call me stuck up, girls say I'm conceited. On behalf of all hot girls, those comments aren't needed. Just 'cause I'm pretty, I have to be dumb. I don't care about wits, I just wanna have fun. People start rumors and say things about me. Funny thing is, I didn't go to that party. Hot girls, we had problems too. We're just like you, except we're hot.
Yeah, see there?
So
Bet you never thought about that, Sam.
and realize we're not perfect, and sometimes we hot girls, we had problems too. We're just like you, except
Wait, is that a Casio?
the world needs to open their eyes and realize we're not perfect, and sometimes we lie. Why oh why can't you see? You all are just like me. We make mistakes and get in trouble. Now you know our hot girls struggle. Hot girls, we have
Yeah,
problems
back into the
too.
chorus.
We're just like you, except we're hot. The world needs to open their eyes and realize we're not perfect, and sometimes we hot girls, we have problems too.
They do.
We're just like you, except we're hot.
They're just like us, except they're not ugly like us.
And realize we're not perfect, and sometimes we lie. Just kidding, we're perfect.
No, you gals. Crazy. That's the gals from Double Take. Hot Problems, burning up the charts.
You know, I've been searching
I
feverishly.
like the song. Sorry. I like the
it's
song.
gonna be massive.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum,
There's already an acoustic
bum,
version.
bum, bum. No, really? Can you hit
Some
play? Hit play. Put your microphone on that. Let's see what this guy does. This is, there's already the internet has.
Let me forward through them.
Yeah, this is-
Okay, I was singing.
all right. Already parodies.
That was part of the joke. Oh, please don't get me wrong. I know that I'm hot, but textbook perfection really takes a lot.
That's not the same song.
No, I
that's
don't
just
think it
some
is.
dude singing about how he's hot. Yeah, no, that's not the same song.
It's
It's hot girls. They have problems too, just like you, except that they're hot.
Did you read
Yes.
though? Okay, now the producers of the video have also thrown these girls under the bus right
Yeah.
in this description. Old Bailey Productions did not create any of the audio or lyrics for this video. We produced the video as a favor for a young sibling of one of our friends.
And you want to know what the first thought for me was on that one? Here are a bunch of small time, they're probably, where are they from? I don't know where they're from.
I just read an article that said it had something to do with Cal Berkeley.
Okay,
Some
all right.
people at Cal
So
Berkeley.
here's what Old Bailey Productions is. They're a bunch of old music snobs. They probably play in an alt grunge band around Berkeley, and they hate American Idol, and they hate all of this stuff. But they took a quick check, to do this for these girls,
Right.
and now they're putting it out there on YouTube, and they're distancing themselves from it because they're too cool. Well, you know what? As the future attorney for Double Take, I thank you for putting that out there.
Exactly.
Because when the millions and millions start rolling in, we're not going to feel like we need to give you anything because you have completely distanced yourself from this massive viral hit in waiting.
Yeah, did you learn nothing from Rebecca Black? Because what
Yes.
happened? That company ended up basically going to court with them over how much money they were worth, like they were going to get out of that, and they were definitely not distancing themselves from that.
No, yeah, they were.
Yeah.
But these guys are like, oh, it's so stupid. Yeah, hey, I saw that video. No, here's how it'll go. So I saw, I got an email from my little niece who said that she was watching this video and it said that Old Bailey Productions is where it was produced. And she said, don't you know the guys from Old Bailey Productions? Oh, yeah, we did that as a favor for a little sister of one of our friends. We needed the rent money, so we did it. But, yeah, we have nothing to do with that. Oh, that's too bad because it's got 50 million hits. 50 million people have now heard of Old Bailey Productions. They love this crazy piece of cheese, which is really what it is. And they think you're a bunch of stuck-up music snobs who are always going to be broke. Always. Oh, I knew some of these music snob types.
Yeah.
Yep, no, man, that's a sellout. We're not going to sell out. Yeah, you know what? You're always going to be broke. Always. You've got to figure out how to balance the two. Your artistic integrity with cold hard American capitalism. You got to balance the two.
Yeah, it is. It's a tightrope, but you have to be able to play on it because otherwise you're just going to be that guy who constantly judges what everybody else is doing.
Who's been able to do it? That's a whole other conversation, but why not? We're podcasting. Who's been able to do that? What entertainers in American, let's say modern American culture, have been able to balance that artistic credibility and commercial success?
Man, that is tough because it's rare. Because
It is. 'Cause
There's always a
inevitably-
point. Yeah, there's always a point where even if you're doing it really well, you failed at some point.
I'll give you a band who's done it.
Yeah.
I'll give you one band, and I'm sure that there are a bunch of bands, and people would probably argue, but I would say that Pearl Jam has done it.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam has had the wild commercial rock pop star success, and they've also maintained their artistic credibility by sort of removing themselves from certain money-making opportunities and all that. Pearl Jam has done it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're definitely one of them.
I think Chris Rock has done it.
But I think that, Chris Rock is one that I would definitely say. Because Pearl Jam, the problem with Pearl Jam is that I think that because of that, they aren't as big as they could have been. You see what I mean? Like, Chris Rock, on the other hand,
I think they're
is
iconic.
massive.
I think Pearl Jam is about as big as any band could have gotten in the
Yeah.
last 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Pearl Jam is A-list still. They haven't put out a hit album in 10 years, and they would still headline, a major stadium if they decided to tour.
Sure, they would headline, but the problem is like I don't think that they're being. I think that right now is like a completely different beast than what like artists have had to deal with before. Where like you almost don't have a chance as a band if you aren't in a major ad. Like for instance, like the guys that do the GM ad. Geez, I wish I could. They always do the viral videos online.
OK Go?
Yeah, OK Go. So like those.
That's a whole different kind. That's a whole new media kind of rock star.
Right.
They're different than any sort of rock star career that has come before it.
Yeah.
OK Go was almost married from the beginning to advertising and marketing.
Yeah, but it seems like that's almost the route that you have to go these days. Like I always say, like if everyone's always like, "Oh, it's too bad Kurt Cobain went." No, because he would probably be doing ads for Apple right now. Like, and
Well, no, I don't think so. I mean, Eddie Vedder isn't. I mean, Kurt Cobain was pretty deep into what he believed.
Yeah,
Sincere
I hope
enough
so.
to put a gun in his mouth and blow his head off because he didn't want to be famous anymore.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a guy that would be doing Apple commercials.
I don't know.
Axl Rose didn't do it.
Yeah.
Look, say what you will about Guns N' Roses. We had a long conversation about them, but I think that Axl Rose has certainly treaded that artistic integrity with commercial success.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough to do.
Dude's
I
a
guess I
first
always
ballot
just
Rock
assume.
and Roll Hall of Famer, and he told him to go blow it. I mean, that's artistic integrity.
Yeah, definitely.
Sam, how about you? Any guys that you can think of that have been able to sort of straddle that artistic integrity and become commercially successful? Oh, I see another guy right there, Jay-Z. Jay-Z is another guy who's been able to do that. You know, that's a guy who right now is about as commercially mainstream as it gets, and yet he's still considered one of the great rap stars of all time. The Blueprint, right? Wasn't that his 2001?
I think so.
So that's considered a landmark hip-hop album.
Yeah.
No.
I'm trying to think of, like, there's a couple of movie makers that refuse to, like, I can't think of the names off the top of my head, but they come out like a Woody Allen.
Okay, all right.
He won't sell out. I mean, he's gonna do it his way. Or
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, in movies. Yeah, he has completely always done it his own way, and he's had commercial success and artistic credibility.
and failures. I mean,
Would you say Kevin Smith, if we're trying to make this for a more modern
Yeah.
genre? But didn't he make Jersey Girl
Yeah.
and Geely? I mean,
Yeah.
he's really made some bad stuff, but he seems to do what he's true to.
what
you know?
about like a Michael Moore? He doesn't sell out. He sticks
Yeah,
to-
yeah, that's true. But he's so polarizing that there are people that would argue that he is a sellout from the beginning, just a sellout for the left.
yeah.
You know, he's not exactly open-minded. You know, he's just maybe a different kind of sellout. Yeah.
It's tough.
Hey, give us a call. If you can think of
Yeah.
it. It's, we don't really take calls here. All right, so the Hot Girl song.
Yeah,
That's where we are. That's where we are now.
I think it was great.
Can I hear it again?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's hear it again. Hot Problems by Double Take. Yes, there is some part of me that wants to get this stuck in the head of anybody that might be listening.
Yeah.
Something that I enjoyed doing. Hot girls, we have problems too, just like you, except that we're hot.
Running the intro right now for the video.
Here we go. All right. Sing along if you know the words.
Look at me and tell me the truth. What do you do when people don't know what we go through? They see my blonde hair, blue eyes in class, but they don't know I have a really big heart. Don't get me wrong, I know that I'm hot, but textbook perfection really.
You know the
Oh,
problem
maybe
is-
it was. Maybe it was.
Huh?
That was a line from the one that Sam played that we said wasn't the same song. It was the same song.
Oh.
All right.
We're just like you, except we're hot. No one needs to open their eyes and realize we're not perfect. Sometimes we lie.
Yeah.
Got the look.
All right. Well, there you go. That's enough. That's Hot Problems by Double Take. Coming to an email near you soon.
You know what? I bet you they're going to be doing live shows in Dallas, pretty soon, making stops on the tour. Like Rebecca Black actually ended up doing a lot of live shows.
You know, this is what's fun about this, and you would know more about these kinds of things, the tracking of the popularity. So this was posted 5 days ago on YouTube. It's got 211,000 views. Okay, 5 days ago, 211,000. It hit the mainstream press this morning. So CNN started running a little thing on it, and I think Gawker had a story on it. So now it'll be interesting to see tomorrow.
Right.
How did that 211,000 hits grow? How many more people saw it in the 24 hours since it went to the mainstream press? I mean, like, how many hits did like Rebecca Black's end up getting? I mean, this is a good question for you. What is a smash hit as far as hit counts go? Like, what is
Oh.
a smash? Like the biggest of all time. What is the Titanic of viral videos? What? 2 girls, 1 cup?
Yeah. No, I think that really the smash hit would be somewhere like 250, 400,000 or 400 million. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But like Rebecca Black, I think that she got up to like 60 million hits on hers. And then you also can't account for all the times that it was copied and replayed on YouTube,
Right.
and that got 10
And
million.
this is always changing. These numbers, like what the barriers are. The records are constantly being broken. And
Yeah.
I'll draw a parallel to people with Twitter. I remember less than a year ago, there was a big contest between Ashton Kutcher and Larry King to see who could be the first on Twitter to get to 1 million followers. Well, that was less than a year ago. And now there are hundreds of people with over 1 million followers.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen how much Twitter has grown just in the last 9 months from we're trying to be the first to 1 million to now Kim Kardashian's got like 40 million or, something crazy like that.
As it turns out, right now, the #1 video ever is, it looks like it was actually from Africa, called Waka Waka, and it has 461 million views.
Waka Waka.
Yeah. You want to hear what it sounds like?
Yeah. What is Waka Waka? This is the biggest viral video of all time?
This is it.
What are you seeing?
Looks like it's like a soccer game right now, like kind of like an intro to some type of like a music.
These damn third world people. I didn't know they had internet access. How are they in all these hit counts?
I know.
I mean, would you think it would be something that would appeal to the Western world where everyone has a mobile device that... This is the biggest...
She is hot. Okay, the singer just popped up. She's pretty cute.
Is this like world beat? It's kind of like a world beat song?
I guess so. Just a bunch of...
World beat means everywhere else in the world but here.
Yeah. It does turn out we're kind of the only ones that don't get into like soccer and like all the other... Yeah.
World beat music and soccer.
This is the most un-American thing that they could have come up with. This is actually a big...
Have you seen Fox News lately?
No. This is actually the rest of the world trolling us, like to show us that they can actually get this all the way up to the top.
All right. So that had 411 million views.
Yes.
411 times people had clicked to watch that. Now, that doesn't account for people who watched it 1,000 times, but it's still a lot of people.
It's insane.
And what was Rebecca Black's Friday? Did we come up with that number?
I think that was like somewhere around 65 million when we were, but that was a while back too.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't think of any other, some other big viral videos that would be all-timers. Of course, Two Girls, One Cup, but that's not going to have that many hits because it's hardcore pornography, and that eliminates a lot of the people that would be clicking on it anyway.
Yeah, I know Chocolate Rain was like one of the original.
What is Chocolate Rain? What is Chocolate Rain?
This has 78 million views, and this was before YouTube came out. There was this black guy who's simply standing in front of a microphone, and he decides that he's going to sing a song called Chocolate Rain.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be some kind of scat porn.
No.
I was concerned.
No, this is about a 14-year-old kid. And this got pretty massive on
So you're familiar
iTunes
with this
as well? Yeah.
Sounds like...
Well, why is it not playing? Oh, there we go.
Will die before this in chocolate rain. The school books say it can't be here again. Chocolate rain.
You want to see what it was like?
The prisons make you wonder where it went. Chocolate.
Oh yeah, I've seen that guy. That's the deep voice kid.
Yeah.
You think he's like he sounds like a 60-year-old man, but he's like a 20-year-old, right? Yeah, all right. I've heard this before. How about, the other big one that comes to mind is that leave Britney alone. Leave Britney. Chris Cropper or something like
Crocker,
that.
Yeah.
Leave Britney alone. And then there was the other guy, my favorite viral star of all time, the guy who was on the news because someone was going around in the neighborhood raping people.
Oh, yeah. They're raping everybody out here.
You don't come on up in yet. And he was really gay.
Yeah.
He's like a 20-year-old black. He's wearing like a wife beater and a do-rag on his head. Yeah. And he's really flamboyant gay. Like, you don't come up here and be raping on our women.
Yeah. You know what I really thought was amazing about that is that like he started getting more and more attention, and like he was actually kind of dressed up, but he had his hair all done and everything, and that was the moment they picked up on the fact that he may be gay. It wasn't during the original video, but it wasn't ever during that.
Oh.
Like apparently he ended up going on Twitter and he was like, I hate to like come out to you guys all of a sudden. Like
his name actually became famous. Like if someone said that. Like we were in a crowd of people and somebody said the name, I go, oh yeah, that's the don't come up here raping guy.
Yeah.
But I can't recall it right now.
But he was essentially just making fun of everybody that couldn't pick up. He was like, "Really, you couldn't pick up on that during the YouTube video?"
Yeah. All right. Sam, any viral videos that you can remember?
No, I just the Rebecca Black one's the only one that ever comes to mind. I don't really follow viral videos that much unless somebody points them out to me.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's why it's called viral.
Yeah.
Because you don't catch a virus because you want to. It just somehow latches onto you in all the different ways. I mean, I'm familiar with all of these things, but I also don't. I don't go to 4chan. I don't spend my time cruising around YouTube. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. So I'm just sort of I represent the average person, I think, who, is affected by these things in different ways. You can't be scrolling around and get, stop on Entertainment Tonight without them showing you the latest viral sensation, so.
Yeah, I've actually been really amazed by how often I'll see viral videos on CNN. Just like you said, I guess this is on CNN.
Well, then why don't
These
we do
two
this?
girls.
Yes, I have a lot of the cool stuff. Like, oh my God. Okay, just from last week, the biggest one of last week was the superhero guy eating chips.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Uh-huh.
Sam, do you know what this one's all about? This one went viral, and the guy became like a huge star and everything. There was a woman on a train in New York City, the subway, and she believed she was being followed by this other guy. So the doors close and the train starts moving, and she says to us, "Why are you following me?" If you've ever ridden a big city subway, this kind of crazy shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
"Why are you following me?" And he's like, "I'm not following you. Get away from me." And she kicks this dude square in the gut. And this guy starts to make a move like, "Hey, I'm going to beat you up now because you just kicked me in the gut because you're crazy and you think I'm following you, and I'm not. I'm just trying to go home." So breaking up all of this, some dude, some schlub,
Yeah.
he's wearing blue jeans, he's got a windbreaker on, probably about 30 years old or so, and he's just snacking on a bag of chips. And he just sort of eases his way in between these two people who are about to fight, and without raising a hand, without doing anything, breaks up the fight. And not for a minute does he stop snacking on these chips. And some dude had it all recorded on a cell phone. They put that video up on YouTube, and now suddenly that guy's being interviewed by Anderson Cooper. Bill Maher's making jokes about him in his a monologue on Friday night. Saturday Night Live made a mention of him on the. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's cool or not. I guess it depends on your desire to be famous or to have some bit of fame. But the old Andy Warhol thing about everyone being famous for at least 15 minutes, that is really coming true. And it showed that guy knew what he was talking about back then when he was looking at the future and was saying the way art was going and the way culture was going. He is absolutely right. Everyone now will have their 15 minutes somehow at some point.
Yeah. It's totally, it's insane how quickly it'll happen too. I remember when that was on CNN, I think it had happened the day before.
Yeah.
So you wake up one day, you have no idea that you're right on the brink of becoming this guy that's about to start getting interviewed by these massive national news figures.
Well, you know what I did though? I remember I saw that, and then I because when they show it on CNN, it's always this reporter Jeannie Most. She always does these crazy kicker stories, and she showed some other videos of confrontations that happened on the subway. And there was another one. There was a black guy. Black guy looked like a law student or something, wearing a really nice suit, overcoat, glasses, really well put together, black dude on the subway, reading a book, sitting there reading a book. And then across from him is another black guy, the direct opposite. The absolute gold grill, he's got a do-rag on. And this, we'll call him troubling brother. The troubling brother was leaning in and getting as close to this well-put-together young black gentleman as he could, saying stuff like, "I'm going to kill you. You know who I am? I'm going to kill you. Look at you, you Urkel-looking mother effer. Look at you. You think you come up and you can ride on my train like this? And the dude, the together brother, we'll call him, never took his eyes off the page. Turned the page of the book, kept reading. I mean, it was like a WWE thing. Jeez. It was amazing. And then finally, the thug just backed down. And he don't know why he was starting to fight with. He just got on the train and decided he's going to kick a little ass. He's going to kick the ass of the guy in this public transportation, folks. Sometimes Dallas ought to be happy that we don't rely on it as much as other cities. So I'm telling you, it is not fun. But yeah, that went viral too. And all these people are now becoming. There is a new way to get famous.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years.
And you don't even see it coming. You don't even see. I don't think that there's ever been a situation like that where you don't have to seek out fame like that near as much as you had to anyway. And was there ever a situation where, like, unless it was just like one of those really random situations?
You know, all right, historically, we're talking about entertainment culture and all that. Historically, it's probably similar to what was happening in America between 1963 and like 1965. And I've heard a lot of people tell stories about this. If you were an American teenager in 1964 and you could play a guitar and you were, you know, playing your school dance with the guys, you know, that you hung out with and all that, you were guaranteed a record deal. There was such a feeding after the Beatles hit and after that British invasion came in, there was every record company in America suddenly went, oh, we need to open up a rock and roll division. And everybody went out. And there weren't kids. Every kid wasn't in a band like they are today. Because there was nothing. There were no rock stars to emulate. There was no, you know, it was all new. So if you were a kid who could play guitar, you got a record deal. And it was fast, it was furious, and that's why there were so many one-hit wonders from those times, because, you know, they really weren't great artists. They were just able to play a guitar, so they got a record deal and got put on TV, and they became famous.
And they all got to play that one song that everyone seemed to like.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right. What else? Anything else we want to get into here today? I think we... we want to talk about the Secret Service a little bit, right?
Yeah. Those poor guys. Can't they just have some fun?
Well... All right, now let's talk about what we know about this story, okay? So the president was down in Colombia, spelt with an O. It's starting to bother me.
Yeah.
Seeing everybody is like writing their comments on Facebook and stuff about Columbia, and they're spelling it with a U, like Columbia University or Columbia, Missouri, or Columbia College, where I went. Yeah, and I even fell into that trap as well. But it's always been a sticking point. No, the country of Colombia is spelt with an O, C-O-L-O. All right, the university is C-O-L-U. Both pronounced the same, very different spellings. I mean, watch for this now. I'm seeing it in newsprint headlines. Actual journalists spelling it wrong.
See, because I was going to say, I'll give them a slide on Facebook, because when you put out your tweet or your Facebook post, it'll have that red line under there if you misspelt something. But that won't show up because you have spelt something correctly.
Multiple uses, yeah. They're both proper names for a country and an institution.
Yeah, and it drives me absolutely insane to think that people are seeing these red lines all over the place and just hit enter.
Well, I do that. I ignore red lines. I do. You know what? I really do. I think that, and I've said this a lot over the last couple of years, I think that spell check should be eliminated, and you shouldn't take advantage of spell check because it's just more honest. You know, if somebody has written something really deep and interesting, but every other word is misspelled, that tells me a little bit about this person. It tells me that maybe I shouldn't be as invested in what they're saying because they're idiots. It's like,
That is true.
It's true,
Yeah, because anybody can mock themselves up to be a genius.
Have you ever had a girl text you and the spelling is just so bad, you're like, oh, man. Can I have sex? Can you spell sex? It's... Yes, S-E-C-K-S.
Okay. And that's the only time that I'll let it slide, too, is over text messaging with a girl that I've been trying to talk to. Otherwise, I'll just be like,
Well, you judge them, right? I mean, you do judge them. There's a part of you that goes, I mean, look, I know. I misspell everything. That's fine. Judge me for my spelling. That's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I want the same from you, Yeah. They are. Spell check is the fake tits of the internet. That's what it is.
Yeah, and, texting is, like, kind of nice because if you're on Facebook, you have that spell check. But for some reason in texting, they haven't really done that yet. So, like, on texting, you can really go off the deep end with, like, misspellings and all types of stuff. You can really kind of learn more about the person.
Yeah. So you use words wrong. All right, anyway. So, so people are getting Colombia wrong, and it's starting to bother me. However, President was going down to Colombia for that big summit they were having with all the South American people. Thought we hated them all, but whatever. We're down there hanging out in Colombia. Which, by the way, let me just point this out. Colombia? The President of the United States is going to Colombia?
Yeah.
The world has changed, man. That used to be like saying, hey, the president's going to do a drop-in in Chechnya. I mean, Colombia was run by drug cartels and judges were being blown up in the street. And it was not the place that you would put the president of the United States. It was a hot zone, as they say.
Yeah, well, the president's going to make a stop in Juarez. today.
Yeah, no, they don't do that. So apparently they got their act together down there in Colombia. And it's probably true. I haven't heard a lot about Colombian drug rings and all that stuff. I haven't seen.
They're all part of the government now.
Well, I don't know, whatever. But I guess it's safe to go down to Colombia. So the president's making one of his trips, and they send an advance team. Now the advance team is a team of Secret Service agents, and also. These are, they send military personnel, bomb-sniffing dog units, all anti-terrorism teams, all that kind of stuff. And they go down about a week in advance. Now, these are not the Secret Service agents who you see standing next to the president whenever he makes a speech. That is his personal detail. That is a different group of guys. But the right, especially, trying to make this political. Oh, of course they were partying. They were President Obama's Secret Service. No, they weren't. They were his advance detail. He doesn't hang out with those guys. Those guys are always somewhere he's going to be next week. Okay, so that's what this deal is. So they're all down there, and they're preparing for the visit of the president, and everything's fine. And they're staying at this beautiful hotel, the Hotel Caribe. Woo! Let me tell you, although the Hotel Caribe has an issue that I'm not real comfortable with, I wouldn't like this. It's like a 5-star hotel, but if you want to bring a guest up to your room, you have to sign them in at the front desk, and then you have to leave. They have to leave an identification. Mm-hmm. It's a 5-star hotel. What are you kidding me?
Well, that's how that it's for the escorts. They have to pay tips to the people at the front.
Well, okay, it's funny that you say it's for the escorts because again, prostitution is legal down there. This isn't any sort of law that was broken. But yes, that's the problem. That's the policy of the hotel, and that's why we have this big Secret Service Colombian escort scandal. So basically, this team they had done their job. Everything was finished, and I guess it was their last night. Or actually, I'm not even sure, but. They decided to go hog balls wild. Boy, they're going to go crazy. South American women, first of all.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I love that. To me, they're all Sofia Vergara. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Moms, daughters, they all look just like that, whether they're 18 or 45. So they decide that they're going to party. And they go down to this local club, Club Play, which is... it's not like the Lodge or one of our finer establishments here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex because it's, doubles as a brothel, which is, you go other places in the world, and that's pretty much what all strip clubs are. They are a brothel in one room, and, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's not the, well, I'm not even going to say it.
All right,
the back rooms.
No, yeah, and look, sure, there are gentlemen's clubs in America where you can go and you get a little something extra if you tip really well, but it's not the norm. It's really not. I know people have these crazy expectations of what these gentlemen's clubs are, but they're really not. I mean, they really are so tame.
Yeah, it's exactly what you wish they were when you go into a place in America.
Yeah,
over there.
Yes, like if I went to Club Play in Colombia, I'd be like, this is the greatest brothel/strip club ever.
Why didn't they think of this at home?
Why don't we have our strip clubs be brothel/strip club? All right, and again, remember, it's legal down there, so this isn't something that has to be hidden away. So they go down to the Club Play, and they're partying, and they're having a good time, and they want to take some girls back to the hotel with them. This is the United States Secret Service guys. So they hire 11 girls, and they take them all back. Take them all back to the 5-star hotel. All 11 of these girls have to sign in. They have to leave their identification. This isn't a red flag for United States Special Agent. The United States go, oh, this is a bad idea. Now we're creating a paper trail. Now the whores that we are bringing back to our 5-star hotel on the taxpayer dime are having to put some sort of name to paper and list an ID along with it. This is starting to get a little bit too, bureaucratic. Let's get out of this mess now. Thank you. I mean, why did they even bring them back to the hotel room?
Yeah.
Stay at the Club Play.
Right. Yeah, was there not one guy sitting around going, "Hey guys, what do you think we just go back over there? We could get everything taken care of."
Had to have been, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that there were a couple. I'm thinking the Secret Service, man. I'm thinking that these are the world's toughest nerds, right? Mm-hmm. Total straight-laced, like the Men in Black kind of thing.
Yeah.
No expression, willing to take a bullet for their president, non-political. They don't care what his agenda is. They're there because it's there. I mean, I think of these guys as being the absolute height of professional integrity, the Secret Service. Mm-hmm. Hey, I watched the Reagan assassination. I saw Tim McCarthy jump in front of that bullet, take it right to the gut. That was pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear a guy shooting, and I think the human reaction is to duck and take cover. We see Tim McCarthy on the video turn towards where the shooting is coming from and step into the line of it. Took a bullet for the president.
It's unbelievable.
You know, Tim McCarthy is now the police chief in my hometown of Orland Park, Illinois.
Really?
We're very proud of him. Yeah.
Something to be proud of.
Yeah. Guy took a bullet for Reagan. All right, so at any rate, I have this impression of the Secret Service that doesn't match the details coming out of Colombia.
Yeah.
They're signing, so they bring back 11 prostitutes. Now, this is the story's a bit confusing to people because there is also a bunch of military personnel who are also being, questioned about behavior. Folks, unrelated. Two completely separate instances. Now, the military guys got caught up in the net when the Secret Service guys got busted. When the Secret Service guys got busted for being stupid, that's when the embassy, the United States Embassy, came in and went, all right, this person, Secret Service, this guy is military, special forces. What is he? He brought a girl too. All right, now how many military guys? That's how it happened. They weren't all partying together. They were just, independently out having fun in Colombia. And everybody who was doing something bad got in trouble because the Secret Service blew it for them.
Oh, man. You know that they're just all so pissed off at the one person who's responsible because
there is one person responsible. We'll get into that in a minute.
You never get caught the first time that you do things like this.
No,
you know what I mean? This is something
not.
that you guys do everywhere you go that it's possible. You go out, you have a good time.
Obvious, especially since in an unrelated case, there are elite members of the United States military who are doing the same thing, off at a different club, because they probably don't like one another. Oh, damn feds, I hate those guys. Oh, military jarheads, it's
certain clubs that they go to, they're like, oh, they're all so snobby over there in Secret Service. Let's not hang out with those douchebags.
Yeah. All right, so you brought up one guy. There's probably one guy that everybody's ticked off at. And I can't wait to find out who this guy is. Because here's what happened. They get back to the hotel. They party all night. Everybody crashes out. There's a tiger in the bathroom, setting the scene appropriately. It's Mike Tyson's tiger. So it's the morning. Everything's kind of crazy. And if you've ever been to one of these events, you know that there are beer bottles tipped over on tables, and there are cigarette butts in the carpeting, and there's a naked girl laying on the bed with just her butt. It's crazy. It's crazy. So morning arises, and one of the girls who has stayed over demands an additional payment. Okay. Now, completely related, I suppose. Turns out she was in the right. She was owed additional money. And one of the Secret Service guys refused to pay her what turns out to be $60 American. Oh. $60 American. This dumbass Secret Service agent is going to get into a screaming match with a prostitute in a 5-star hotel days before the President of the United States, his boss, is set to arrive. So at some point, and that's what happened. So he refused to give her the $60, so she went down to the hotel lobby, and she got a cop who was stationed in the hotel lobby. It was supposed to be like 6 a.m. in the morning. Now, the cop basically said, okay, this is Colombia. You are a registered lady of the night. You are a business operator. You have been stolen from. I'm a cop. This is this is official business. I have to go investigate. Oh, wait a second. Those are United States federal agents up there. I'm just a cop who's working the 6 a.m. shift at the hotel lobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this guy's like, maybe I ought to call a boss. Yeah. Maybe I ought to see what's going on. So the cop, he did what I think any smart person would do. All right, honey, I'm gonna bump this up the food chain, and I'm gonna see what they tell me to do. So he calls his boss back at the police station, and that guy says, yeah, you were right to call me. We don't want to go storming in on a bunch of United States federal agents. Let me ask somebody. So then that boss asks somebody, and that somebody doesn't call anybody back. He just immediately calls the United States Embassy and says, hey, this is like the mayor, probably the mayor of the city. Probably got that high. Yeah, look, U.S. Embassy, this is the mayor of so-and-so. There is a situation over $60 and a prostitute in the Hotel Caribe, and it involves, I don't know, about 20 of your elite forces. So the United States Embassy descended upon you. Get a lid on this story before the media finds out, before anything. The United States Embassy comes in, they shut the whole damn thing down, and that's when they discover, because you have to sign in at this hotel and leave an ID, that's when they discover that it's not just the one Secret Service agent with the one prostitute who's upset, but they discover that it's 11 Secret Service agents, and then I think they set up to 9 other military personnel who all had their prostitutes sign the damn registration and leave an ID.
Wow.
And now it's all this.
Unbelievable. You would think that the U.S. Embassy, like, you know, they get told, hey, look, this is over $60. There's a guy who owes a prostitute. You would think that they would just respond, well, do you take PayPal?
Well, there's got to be. When I think of a United States federal agent of anything, any caliber, whether you're FBI, whether you're DEA, whether you're, well, I guess that's not federal, but Secret Service, Homeland Security, I think of someone who is composed, really quick, like quick on his feet, smart, quiet, doesn't say a whole lot, knows it's better to just listen and only speak when, every good characteristic that you would want for your child to grow up to be, I think of in a United States Secret Service man.
Right.
So dedicated to his job, willing to sacrifice his own life for God and country. That's
this high ranking.
Yes.
You're so high ranking that you didn't get the Peon Hotel. You're in the 5-star hotel that everyone's going to the next day or the next, that following week.
Oh yeah. Oh no, this was, however, not the hotel that Obama was going to.
Okay.
So that was all right, but there was a problem. All of these agents had the president's minute-by-minute schedule in their hotel rooms, and you're partying with a bunch of hoes.
Some whore walking around Columbia with like the minute-by-minute schedule.
Yeah.
What is this?
Here, let me read this to you, because this is of NBC News, actually U.S. News and World Report. A little bit more of an update on what this story is all about. The Colombian prostitute who triggered the scandal that has rocked the Secret Service got angry with 2 agents who refused to pay her full price for servicing the both of them. Ew! So it's like, it's this guy. You know the guy and you go, well, I don't want to get a chick. Why don't we just go in? What if I just stay and watch? Does it cost? We had those guys. Those are not characteristics of the United States Secret Service.
Yeah. It's be like,
United States Secret Service guys are supposed to be so manly and so handsome that the girls are supposed to waive their fee altogether just to be with them.
Right. Do we know how many people were actually staying at that hotel?
From the American contingent?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what percentage? Is this like 90% of them doing this?
Yeah, because if there's 25 people, we just found out that like literally 95% of these people.
So the Colombian prostitute who triggered the scandal that has rocked the Secret Service got angry with 2 agents who refused to pay her full price for servicing the 2 of them, leading to a financial dispute over between $40 and $60 U.S. This according to a government source who's been briefed on the investigation. All these careers are over. Make no mistake. None of these guys work for the Secret Service anymore. They don't. Their careers are over. Whatever. And like you said, some of these guys are very high ranking, been there for 20 years, 30 years. These are the guys that have already put in the time in the line of fire, who are now the experts, and so they are the advance team. They don't have to take a bullet for the president anymore. They did that under Clinton. Now they're still in the scene. And this is so. We're not talking about kids here. It says here 2 agents from the service's elite counter-assault team in Colombia, in advance of President Barack Obama's arrival for the Summit of the Americas over the weekend, had procured the women's services at a local strip club called Play Club. Let's see. All the Secret Service agents and officers implicated in the scandal are believed to have gone to the club that evening and brought back women. The controversy arose after one of the women went back to a hotel room with 2 agents. The woman wanted to be paid for servicing both agents. The source, who has been briefed on the probe, told NBC News instead the agents would only agree to split her price, prompting the woman to complain to local police who were stationed in the lobby. What are you doing? What are you doing? When she turns and storms down the hall and you hear the elevator open, don't you go, oh, okay, all right. What are you doing?
These guys are in a situation where really, if she wanted to, even if they both paid, she could blackmail them and say, look, you owe me $500 for this. Otherwise, I'm going down to the guy and telling them, and this is going to turn into a huge issue for you.
Exactly. That's why I don't understand. I mean, who is this guy, this idiot Secret Service agent who wouldn't give her $40?
Yeah.
She's
right or wrong. Give her the freaking money.
Give her $40 or put a bullet in her back.
Yeah.
Those are the only two options at this point because this bitch can't be allowed to tell what she's just done. I mean, what are we dealing with here? Right? I mean, that's the scene in the movie where he doesn't pay her and he just kills her and then they dispose of the body because they're United States federal agents and they can do shit like that.
That's what I expect from the federal agents.
Right.
That quick thought.
We've got a leak.
Yeah.
Stop the leak.
Yeah. I mean, this is why I don't believe conspiracy theories. Like crap like this goes on. It's not very well thought out. It's that high ranking.
Well,
no one's really thinking these things out as well as you would hope.
Right. And that's what got me to my next issue here. Mm-hmm. They're in Colombia. This agent was wired out of his mind on blow. There's no other reason to explain his actions other than an inflated sense of grandiosity that cocaine gives you, where I ain't giving that dirty whore anything. You know, that's cocaine. That's
true.
A guy that's wired out of not making the right decision because he thinks his shit don't stink because he's king of the world because he's all worked up on blow. That's what it is. It's Colombia. Do you honestly think that there wasn't cocaine involved? It's Colombia. These girls exist. Their engines run on cocaine. You bring 11 Colombian prostitutes back to your hotel room and you don't think that they're high or you don't think that they're going to the bathroom and busting off giant chunks and I mean, come on. And by the way, they found a line of cocaine in one of the rooms. So I'm not just going off.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'll get to that part of the story. Yeah. But of course, and that's what this is all about, man. Uh-huh. And you know, now that one guy can come out. I have a problem. I need help. Been victimized by my own demons. I apologize for embarrassing the United States of America. I've learned my lesson. In the future, I'll pay the whore the $60. You know, I mean, that's what's going to happen now. One guy is going to be saying, sure, he had a problem. He was doing drugs. We all tried to talk him out. Oh, shut up! You're not a freaking summer camp of boys who witnessed another boy do something bad. You're goddamn federal agents. If you wanted to stop him, you could have stopped him.
Any celebrity can come out and like do one of those like press conferences where they, oh, I did that, you know, I feel bad about it. And like, I would almost feel bad for almost anybody, but for him, I'll never forgive him. I'll never forgive him.
Unforgivable. Okay, so they called the local police. Blah blah blah. The police went up to the police then went up to the agent's room and began banging on the door. Here's another problem I have here. So the cops, hotel room, 5-star hotel in Colombia, on one side. Inside the room, United States Secret Service agents. On the other side, local community police. And so now the local community police are... I don't speak Colombian. I think it's Portuguese. I don't know what it is. The Secret Service agents on the other side of the door pretended like they weren't there.
What is this, a high school party?
Exactly! Shh, dude, shh, is he still out there? You know, they're looking through the peephole. These are Secret Service agents!
If you don't answer, they can't come in. They'll just leave.
The police then went up to the agent's room and began banging on the door, which the agents at first refused to open, pretending that they weren't there. This according to a source. There are conflicting reports over how the payment dispute was resolved, but two government sources told NBC News the police contacted the United States Embassy over the dispute, and embassy officials then arrived on the scene. Some dude with a checkbook from the local embassy wrote, United States Treasury checkbook, $60 for whoring. You know, because don't forget, the girl got paid. I mean, there was no crime. Nobody was arrested. It's just a scandal that it even started. No, but nobody got arrested. It's not a crime.
I want to see a copy of that check so bad.
Yeah. It's like, I imagine it's like the one you get from the IRS.
I want it to be one of the big checks.
United States Treasury. All important looking.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on with this story.
Won a contest.
The controversy arose after one of the women went back to a hotel room. Two agents, we already did that. The police then went to the agent's room. They pretended they weren't there. It is not known how the payment dispute was resolved. All those with booked rooms at the hotel had to pay a fee of $25 for bringing any guests to their rooms. Oh, so the hotel is pimping them $25 for bringing prostitutes in.
That's why you have to get. They have to have the ID. Yeah.
This is like a world-class hotel. All right, and the guests were required to leave some form of identification at the front desk. A quick scan of the hotel register by the United States Embassy established that 11 Secret Service agents had brought back women to their rooms that evening. When embassy officials notified Secret Service Director Mark Sullivan, he immediately ordered all the agents to fly home. So imagine that flight back. See, this is the next Hangover movie. You know, I want to see the what's that? Bradley Cooper's character become a Secret Service agent.
Oh, you know, and you probably got that coke hangover on the ride home too. So you're just like, oh. And then there's the one guy who's responsible for it all. He's probably on the same flight.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's sitting all by himself.
Yeah.
Like in one of the front seats because all the cool kids are in the back seats. Secret Service members, including agents and uniformed officers, were stripped of their security clearances on Monday. Included in that large group were 2 high-level Secret Service supervisors, 3 counter-assault officers whose job it is to repel attacks, and 3 sniper team members who take to rooftops to ensure areas where the president might visit. U.S. officials have described the agents' conduct as a potential security breach, especially because all the agents involved had access to the president's day-by-day, minute-by-minute schedule. But one official familiar with the security arrangement said that there were no specific security threats during the president's trip. Although agents upon arrival were briefed about current activities by leftist FARC guerrillas and the local drug cartels, they were told neither had made any specific threats against the president. The only specific security concern mentioned was that agents and officers were told to bar one left-wing journalist from events. The Secret Service agents in Colombia were sent. The Secret Service sent agents to Colombia to interview the prostitutes who hooked up. I love that. NBC News U.S. World. Hooked up is the cheese that they're going with. The Secret Service sent agents to Colombia to interview the prostitutes who hooked up with the Americans to figure out if the women are underage. Ay, ay, ay.
Oh, man, it just
Some of them are going to turn out to be 15.
And it's guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed.
It's Colombia. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Figure out if the women are underage, involved with terrorism or trafficking in illegal drugs. Well, first of all, they're prostitutes in Colombia.
Yeah.
Of course they're involved with... Who do you think runs all the crime? The drug cartels. Their boss is, Pablo Escobar III. Of course they're going to have some... You're not going to have to scratch the surface too deeply to find, some link between any given prostitute in Colombia and the drug cartels.
These girls probably know the word coke in every language in the world. They don't know any other language, but they know that one word.
The United States Secret Service has all their IDs and are conducting an extensive background check to make sure they aren't affiliated with any narco-trafficking or terrorist groups, or that they could be minors. This is according to Homeland Security. Let's see. The investigation could take a while simply because of the amount of women involved. Yeah. U.S. military officials told NBC News on Tuesday that 10 American servicemen also were under investigation. Now, this is the military faction. According to the officials, that includes 5 Army soldiers, 2 Navy sailors, 2 Marines, and 1 Air Forceman. One military official says it appears that at least 2 of the service members were found with prostitutes in their hotel rooms, the same hotel, Caribe, where the Secret Service detail stayed. It is not clear whether any of the military members were in any way connected to the allegations involving members of the Secret Service. Well, I've since read other things that say that no, they didn't even hang out together.
I mean, really, what I'm learning from this is that if you're in Secret Service and you're going to Colombia, get your own hotel. Buy your own place. Say, I'll meet up with you guys in the morning.
Well, yeah, if you want to have a little getaway party thing. Yeah.
No, even if... I would feel bad for the guy who goes down there. He's not even a partier. He doesn't even drink. He doesn't do coke. But he's like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get an escort while I'm here.
Now he's caught? Yeah, his one big, dalliance into this dangerous world.
Yeah.
Let's see. It is not clear yet whether any of the 10 will face criminal charges. House and Senate lawmakers are also looking into the allegations. King told the Associated Press that his committee is devoting 4 investigators to the probe. Okay, so they're really looking into this. Meanwhile, one former Secret Service agent, Dan Bongino, who is a Republican candidate for Congress in Maryland, told NBC News that in his 12 years at the agency, he never saw anything like what is alleged to have taken place in Colombia. I'm not saying it's never happened, but I never saw it, Bongino said. He denied there was a culture of partying inside the agency.
That doesn't sound like it.
It doesn't sound like it. And like you said, this is not the first time. This is, and then it goes on to detail some of the other high-profile mistakes that the Secret Service has had, which I forgot about. They talk about the shoe that was thrown at President Bush. How did that guy wing that shoe and, basically just winged right past his head. They talked about the Salahis who crashed the White House party, got in without any tickets and all that stuff. So, apparently they've been under, I'm trying to find something there. They've been under a watchful eye, I guess, now for a while. So this is definitely not a good thing. So
this ruins it for everybody. I mean, because just as many people were there in Colombia, now there's some Secret Service people that are out at some other hotel where prostitution's legal. They always look forward to this trip. This is the one that they always look forward to. We're on our way, boys, and then they ruined it for them.
Oh boy, we're gonna make another one of those trips to Colombia. We play our cards right. Everybody keep quiet about it. Yeah, no, never. Yeah. Now there is never any fun. It is going to be such a bitch now to be a Secret Service agent.
People are gonna be dropping out of it all.
Like it's easy, people were going people were joining the Secret Service the way they attend Arizona State. No, man, it's a party agency.
Yeah. That's the way it seems. Like a lot of these like really high profile events, you'll find out that the emails like come along and they're like, oh yeah, we got a great place, man. It's going to be a blast. Like that's the email that they actually send to each other. It's like, what is this, a keg party?
Yeah. Well, there's so much weird stuff in this story that just blows my long-standing impression of what the Secret Service was. Arguing over a 40 or a 60. And then the other thing, and make no mistake, I mean, they were staying in an extremely expensive hotel in Colombia on taxpayers' dime. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that. These guys are the United States Secret Service. I don't want them staying at the Motel 6. Mm-hmm. We're a class organization. We're a class country. The guys who put their lives on the line for the protection of the President of the United States should have some creature comforts. They should have 24-hour room service if they want it.
Yeah.
And these guys, I'm fine with that. I'm not going to be a taxpayer going, oh, look at the waste of money. But I do expect them not to embarrass us, and this is really embarrassing. Yeah. This isn't John Wayne and Gary Cooper. I want Clint Eastwood. That's who I want. These guys are, again, this is Bradley Cooper in The Hangover. Those are not the guys I want playing the role of my Secret Service agents.
People in other countries.
We got to see this movie though, right? Like there's got to be a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, even like they do parodies of everything. Can somebody not spin this off and just turn it into like a really fun 2-hour adventure?
It's the next. All right, how do we work the Hangover crew into this? Because it's the next Hangover movie. It turns out that they're responsible for all of this partying and that the Secret Service guys were just duped into participating because Bradley Cooper's so damn charming.
Yeah. You have to have like that one like overly alpha gun guy who's constantly talking about like how hardcore he is, and then like the guy that's like very soft. And,
you talking about the Secret Service dudes?
Yeah, we're like building characters on these guys.
Okay, well, let's forget about them. Let's try and figure out how we work the Hangover characters into. All right, so let's just say this: it's a happenstance that they're staying at the same hotel. Okay, what are they doing? Somebody else in the crew getting married to some hottie in Colombia. All right, let's use the same premise for Hangover 2.
Totally rip it off.
Move it to okay. Well, just to justify why they're there.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so someone's getting married, whatever, hot Colombian. Okay. The bridge between the Secret Service agents who are staying at the hotel and the Hangover crew has got to be Zach Galifianakis being obsessed with like some kind of U.S. military or some kind of secret fighting the he's like idiotically obsessed with it, and he will somehow bond with some of the agents, and the agents they'll fail to see what a lunatic he is.
Yeah,
they'll just think he's really into this stuff and he knows a lot about it.
Yeah, like he'll just stumble upon like a random like thing, like a line that they all know in the Secret Service, and he thinks that he's like just like in the mode or something, and then they're like, dude, he's really onto something. He knows.
Yeah, they actually appreciate him, and because he knows so much about their area of specialty, they fail to recognize that he's a nut. Yeah. Socially awkward and all of this. They just think he's a genius. He's like, he would be, what he would do? He would be giving a lot of thought to counterterrorism tactics, and he'd be giving them ideas on how to protect us more, and they'd really be like, wow, that's interesting. Okay, so that's how we get that. Then he doses them. He doses the Secret Service agents, and they throw a big party on the taxpayers' dime. Boom, let's get writing the script. It writes itself.
It is. It's massive.
It's done. And done. Another $200 million.
And I would definitely watch that.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Of course, sure. Hangover Part 3. Secret Service.
No, that's the Marines.
Yeah. Although, you know what? For this, we'll have to recast everybody. You know what I mean? Because by this point, none of the real Hangover stars will want to do it, so it'll all be like lesser clones.
Yeah. It'll be like the American Pie series, when everyone ended up not doing the shows anymore. You just do like the Naked Mile or something version of it.
Well, what are you going to do? Sam, what was that? Who's
I was
dead?
going to say, before we go, breaking news, Dick Clark has died of a massive heart attack.
Oh. Wow.
He's been in the hospital for a while now. Attempts to resuscitate him were unsuccessful.
Well, what is the world's oldest living teenager? Not anymore.
He was 82 years old.
You know what? That dude hit a wall. It was not that long ago that we were all still going, wow, Dick Clark looks great. He's like 75. He looks great. And then, all of a sudden, it was, whoa, what happened to Dick Clark?
Yeah, is he going to make it through New Year's?
It's like he didn't have the gradual decline the way all of us do. He held it together a real long time, and then it was just off the cliff.
Yeah. I would...
That's okay. The world has Ryan Seacrest now. We don't need Dick Clark. Dick waited around just long enough to see that the world had another Dick Clark type, and now we've got Ryan Seacrest, so...
I always fantasize about the people that work in really high tier media jobs, that they're still slackers, but they just happen to get the job. What if there's a guy who didn't put together a montage for Dick Clark? He didn't already have that in the can. They have cans for everything.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Oh yeah, well go ahead and pull Dick Clark, and then he's like, oh,
we don't have it. Yeah, well that's that is really that's kind of fun if you're a news junkie like I am. There's going to be all kinds of maudlin speeches and tributes, and you'll be seeing if you're flipping around Fox News, whatever, it doesn't matter. Dick Clark was not political. They'll give him equal coverage everywhere, and they'll show all these really thoughtful and beautiful montages with music, and then the producer, or not the producer, but the host will come back and Dick Clark, dead at 82. And then they'll fade to black and go to a commercial, something like that.
Yeah.
It'll be like that. They have had that montage in a can for months, years in the case of Dick Clark, and they've just been waiting for that old dude to die. That's all bullshit. That whole Dick Clark, dead at 82. No, you know what they did? They went to black and they went, yes, we finally got to use that damn highlight reel. Thank God.
Remember you spent 2 weeks on that because you lost the original file?
Dude, I don't know. I feel like I've told this story here before. Did I tell it last week about Frank Sinatra? We made a Frank Sinatra reel. He was supposed to...
Yeah, you did.
He was at death's door in 1995. So I made this kick-ass Frank Sinatra reel. News clips and people talking about him, interviews with him. It was beautiful. My host at the time was a huge Frank Sinatra fan. I have this thing made. It looked like any day now he's going to go. I better get this reel done. The dude lived for another 6 years. 6 years. And it mocked me. Every time I'd go into the production room, I'd see this Frank Sinatra reel sitting on this, and I'd be like, is that guy dead yet? Is he even sick? Does he have a cold? What's going on? But then he died.
There it is.
Damn it. We had it. I was standing there, breaking news. I had the reel under my arm. Breaking news, boss. Sinatra died. Here you go. Everybody else is like, oh, that's terrible. And I'm like, yeah, it's terrible. Terrible. But yeah, so that's what's going on behind the scenes today when you see all those beautiful, thoughtful Dick Clark reels.
Yeah.
Some dude is happy that his hard work is finally getting seen.
Got it, boss.
Yeah. All right. Do we have anything we need to talk about or anything like that?
I don't think so, no.
Pretty much 3 hours today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing.
All right.
All right, folks, that's it. That's Pugs and that's Sam,
Jimmy.
Yeah, I guess the barlive.com.
Yes,
Bye,
sir.
everybody.